Here comes the 1-2. Sasaki flies this one into the air, deep towards left, and it's gone. Leadoff home run for Stanford as Sasaki goes deep for the 4th time this season, and the Cardinal with an immediate jolt to the home crowd here in Winston-Salem.
Fastball first pitch for strike one, then he grounded foul.
He's behind 1-2 here as Morningstar tries to shake off the leadoff. Homer does just that with a strikeout, 1 away. Grounder, diving play by Shaffett, second up, throwing for the putout. Out and a ground out for Morningstar after the leadoff homer. This ball hit into right, should be playable. Costello has time, settles under it, and that is the inning, but winning streak to 12. Falling behind here tonight, grounder up the first base line. Tokheim with a nice play, 3 unassisted to retire Javar McDonald out and left. Instead, a hard liner down the right field line, making a big turn as it gets all the way to the wall. Here goes Lewis sliding into second. Also coming into this one with a 7-game hitting streak. First pitch, liner into left, drops in front of McDonald. A late stop sign thrown up by Bill Salento in the third base coaching box. And Wake trying. Cardinal coming back to the return trip. Here's a chopper, left side of the infield, chance to turn 2, get out of the inning. 6-4, not in time.
Couldn't be able to locate it down and away from the righties.
Ground ball towards Bates at short. He'll go the short way to end the inning. And the game will go to the second, tied at 1. Wake manufactures a run to counter Stanford. We're even after an inning.
Hit it all over the ballpark last night, showed his speed, showed his professional capabilities at the plate, and why he's such an important top of that lineup.
You can see 15 hit extra bases in his last 4 games, last 8 games, an 8-game hitting streak. And there's the starting pitcher for the Demon Deacons, Chris Lavonis, a sub-1 ERA on the season, .61 to be exact. He has been unbelievable, one of the best arms in the country.
A power arm with quality secondary stuff and a great delivery. I'm excited to watch him.
As are the rest of the fans here on the couch, at the couch for a beautiful day, as we're just about ready for a first pitch between the Demon Deacons and the Cardinal. Wake Forest has won 13 games in a row, looking to stay hot here today. And Lavonis winds up for the first offering of the game, and it's a swing and a miss. Nice start for Lavonis against Sasaki. A look at the Cardinal batting order today. Rintaro Sasaki starting off in the DH spot at the leadoff as well. Teddy Tokheim someone to look out for as well with a 6-game hit streak. As Sasaki swings and misses on the second offering from Lavonis. And a quick start for the Demon Deacons arm.
You know, it's pretty good when you throw a first pitch slider for a swing and miss and then follow that up with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. There aren't many of us that could do that.
The 0-2 goes low. And Sasaki up to bat for the first time today, of course, after a nice game yesterday. We mentioned the solo home run. He also drew a walk on the season, batting .220 in 12 games started. Lavonis will try to get him this time, and he does. Sasaki fans on the off speed, and it's a quick strikeout for Lavonis, his 34th of the season. 34 strikeouts, 5 walks now on the season for Lavonis. He's 3-0 in 3 games started and has allowed just 1 run in 14+ innings of work.
Well, he's got such a sound delivery. Mechanically, he's fun to watch. His alignment is great. Everything's moving straight down the slope towards home plate.
And then you get the speed like that, 99 miles per hour.
I mean, it's fun to watch. Fun to coach.
Tom Walter has to love having him make this sophomore jump as he gets a pitch in there at 87. It's not just the fastball for Lavonis, he also has some nice breaking pitches as well.
And he throws a 1-0 slider after throwing a 99-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. That gives you a whole lot of opportunities to do a lot of things with all of your arsenal.
Count actually is 2-1, so one of those wasn't a strike, it looks like. Still, though, the 2-hole batter, Teddy Tokheim, mentioned him. He's on a hitting streak of his own. Flares this one foul. Lewis tracking down, and it's out of play into the second row. Tokheim, this just his 5th start of the season, 7th game overall. The 2-2. Chopped foul.
99 is the top part of this upper part of the strike zone. That's just going to be hard to catch up to. He's got very good spin on his fastball, great carry, high spin rate on his breaking pitches as well.
So we'll do the 2-2 again. And Lavonis freezes Tokheim with the off speed and gets his 2nd consecutive strikeout to begin this one.
Pretty good mix. Fastball, slider, curveball mix. His off speed, he'll throw his slider 87, 88. That breaking ball, that curveball is at 81.
You can see there the last 2 starts for Lavonis. 6 perfect innings with 14 strikeouts last Saturday against Loyola Marymount. Was taken out after the 6th inning in a game that would end up going a little bit longer than that due to run rule. That one's just off the plate for ball number 1. And in that game against LMU, he only threw about 70 pitches, so Stanford goal here today probably going to be at least to get the pitch count up, as this one is flared into right field, right in front of Luke Costello, and it's a base hit with 2 outs for the 3-hole hitter, Charlie Bates.
Another 1-0 slider there, a little bit elevated. Bates, nice job of not trying to do too much with it.
And Bates had a rough day yesterday, 0 of 3 with 2 strikeouts, but on the season has been one of the better hitters in the Cardinal lineup. 327 average with 5 extra base hits and 7 runs driven in. He's also 2 of 2 stealing bases on the season with a modest lead over at first. Lavonis doesn't have to deal with a lot of base runners so far this season, as the first offering there to J.J. Moran is swung through and missed.
First pitch slider, and Moran struggled a little bit with off speed yesterday. Saw a steady diet, fly out to right, 2 strikeouts with a very heavy amount of sliders that he saw last night.
That slider against the right-hand batter as well, really difficult to deal with. The throw over to first, not there, and Cade Lewis, it pops out of his mitt, so it looks like Bates is going to stand up and get over to second. Not a stolen base, but a miscue there on the pickoff attempt. And now there's a runner in scoring position with 2 down.
Looks like the throw was on line. Maybe Lewis just missed it.
It looked like the ball kind of popped out of there on the tag, or the attempted tag.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to get down with the tag a little quicker than he should have, and just missed it a little bit.
So now things a little interesting with a runner on second. Put another breaking ball in there for strike number 1.
Boy, and that is so tight. We talked last night about a quick breaking pitch. Doesn't have a lot of belly to it. Hard for a hitter to see. And he threw it on the outside edge. He's working off an 0-2 count with a whole lot of options.
Yes, that was actually strike 2. So a chance here for Lavonis to get out of the mini jam. And he'll step off after looking back at Bates on second. Moran, like Bates, same exact stat line last night at the plate, 0 of 3 with 2 strikeouts. Lavonis would love to get him down here. 15th pitch of the inning on the way. Swing and a miss. Lavonis strikes out 3 as we head to the bottom of the first. Wake Forest will be up to bat for the first time today, right after this. Cardinal, the junior out of Morgan Hill, California, celebrating his 21st birthday. Wants to probably have a good birthday with a good start today, and he's going to face a very dangerous order for the Demon Deacons that put up a season-high 15 hits yesterday against Stanford's pitching crew.
Mid-90s fastball, good electric arm, very upright delivery, high 3/4 arm slot. 13 walks in 14 innings. That's going to be a key factor today as far as avoiding the free passes.
And Wake, one of the best in the country at getting free passes, 3rd most walks in Division I with 102, and the lineup with plenty of walks throughout that we'll touch on. Starting off with Javar Williams in the leadoff spot. Cade Lewis, who we mentioned in the pregame, has been one of the hottest bats maybe in all of the ACC and beyond. And then Javar Williams again, which you see on the bottom there. The stolen bases as well, so if you get him on base with those free passes, he'll make you pay.
Yeah, there's just so many threats and so much danger in this Wake lineup. So many good professional type of approaches at the plate.
Vast majority of the Wake Forest lineup has a walk to strikeout ratio with more walks than strikeouts, which you're lucky on any given time if you have, one or two of those players. Wake has bunches.
And you've got a favorable wind for hitters today too, so a couple of base on balls and a ball in the air, and suddenly a crooked number can get on the board quick.
So Keenan celebrating his 21st birthday. Looking to have a good game before any celebrations, as first pitch is flared deep and foul. Javar Williams wasting no time putting a swing on something. Williams has really settled into the leadoff spot this season for the Demon Deacons, hitting .340 and went 3 of 5 yesterday with the double. Takes that one right off the plate. Count moves to 1-1. That was, again, those are the type of takes that Wake is going to make you throw.
And that's a good miss. I love seeing 0-1 fastball. I think it's a great pitch at any time. And when you can run it up there at 97, that helps. And a good take there by Williams.
That one not as close, so it's count now 2-1 after back-to-back balls off the hands of Keenan, who, again, you mentioned it with the walk issue, 13 walks, 12 strikeouts, so a lot of action happening at the plate. He's made 3 starts this season, 0-2 in those starts, and another one pulled on side.
I noticed watching Keenan warm up, he strides just a little bit across his body. His weight moves towards the right-handed hitter a little. He's got to be careful of that because that can cause that front shoulder to open up a little early.
That's a better pitch right there, right down Main Street for strike number 2, and the count runs full. Williams with 8 strikeouts and 11 walks on the season. Payoff pitch. And a major league take by Javar Williams to get on base in the leadoff spot.
A lot of value to that at bat. A, he gets on base. B, he gets a deep pitch count. Lets everyone see the delivery a little bit. Just great patience there by Williams.
And Wake had an atypical day yesterday with only 1 walk against Stanford, and that was a season low. The previous low was 4, so 1 right off the bat for Williams as Cade Lewis steps up to the plate and hammers this one deep left field, but it's going to pull foul. Of course, Cade Lewis, we've already touched on his production as of late. Had a great game yesterday, 3 of 5 with 2 doubles and 2 runs driven in. Williams fakes going and will return back to first base.
Lavin was set up a little, looked like they were trying to go fastball on the inside part of the plate. They did a great job of that, Stanford did last night, pitching inside on both side hitters. That's going to be critical, I think, for Keenan today.
Keenan gets another foul swing out of Lewis. Count goes to 1-2. And Lewis has been on an absolute tear as of late. You can see the difference between his first 6 and last 8 games. Batting over 500 over his last 8 with 8 extra base hits during that span as well. And that's more what we expected. It's off to the slow start, but again, was a second team All-ACC last season with 85 hits, 59 runs driven in, and 11 home runs. So we knew it was there, and now he's coming into full form. The 1-2. Lewis pokes it through the 6-hole. Williams will round second but stay there. So runners on first and second after a walk and a base hit for Cade Lewis.
I'm surprised at how far up the middle Bates was playing, given the last 2 swings on the fastball by Lewis. He was late on the earlier ones, and Bates was still well up the middle on that.
So some early traffic now for Keenan with no outs, 2 base runners on, and perhaps the best power hitter in the Wake lineup up to bat, Dalton Wentz, who has 5 home runs on the season along with 18 runs driven and both lead the team.
10 pitches thus far from Keenan. We have not seen an off-speed offering yet.
We'll see what he goes with here. 2 on, no out for Wentz. And that one's up top, out of the zone, so it'll be another 1-0 count. big swing from Wentz evens the count, and you can tell that he knows the situation. He has a bit of a green light here with 2 on, no doubt.
Yeah, it was strength against strength. Fastball up in the zone, went right at him, and Wentz good pass at it, hard to catch up to it.
Nearly exactly 2 hits per game over his last 8 for Wentz, making his sophomore leap after a sensational freshman season where he made 54 starts with 13 big flies. Perfect game and Baseball America first team freshman All-American. One, 2 on the way from Keenan to Wentz. And another big swing and a miss. Keenan battling here on the mound. It's a tough situation off the bat, and that one puts Wentz away.
A slider that was up in the zone, but Keenan's a high spin rate, had a high spin rate breaking ball, which means he doesn't have to nibble with it. He can throw it in the zone, and it's gonna, hitters just aren't gonna hit that ball very well. Something that the metrics of high spin tells us.
First pitch in there for a strike. And that's the cleanup batter, Luke Costello, making his 8th start of the season.
You know, there's certainly going to be times you're going to want to throw that breaking ball in the dirt, but the amount of spin he gets on that breaking ball, he just wants to throw it in the strike zone and let it play.
Costello gets a foul tip there. Count quickly runs to 0-2, and this would be a massive out for Keenan to get here in the bottom of the first. And perhaps a bit interesting that Williams hasn't flirted with taking 30. His top 3 in the nation in stolen bases. And on cue, there's a pickoff attempt to second. Williams gets back in time.
Stanford's doing a decent job. Nadi's close to the bag, number 1, but they're also doing a nice job of making sure that Williams' feet are stationary before they're delivering the pitch. That's when bases are stolen at third. If that runner's got to start.
And that was a great take by Costello on the 0-2. Just off the plate, and it's first ball of the at-bat with that one. Again, that's the approach that the Wake batters have had throughout the entire season. You're going to have to earn strikeouts against this squad. Upper shelf. The appeal down to first base, no go. Aaron Higgins, the first base umpire, says that Costello didn't go around. Rest of the umpiring crew at home, it's Linus Baker making the calls for balls and strikes. Kevin Sweeney at third and Connor Hoagland at second base. So it's 2-2 now. And down low, working his way all the way back is Costello.
So there's an adage, if you throw it 2-2, you got to be willing to throw it 3-2. Curious to see if he comes back with it. Good time to start runners here.
Big time payoff pitch on the way from Keenan. And a swing and a miss, back-to-back strikeouts with 2 runners on, and Keenan working himself out of trouble, but he's not out of the woods just yet.
Keenan's delivery, a very upright finish. I think you're going to see that fastball playing in the top of the strike zone a lot. And at 95, 96, you can survive there, and it's hard to catch up to. The Wake hitters are going to have to be disciplined in letting that fastball get down in the zone and spots where they can drive it.
Speaking of discipline, how about Matt Conti making his 15th start of the season, 16 walks with just 8 strikeouts. He's going to be a tough guy to put away here. And even if Wake can't get any runs across here in the bottom of the first, they've already run the pitch count up above 20. Now it's 2-0.
You know, I think that's notable anytime, especially when you've got 2 9-inning games scheduled for the same day. That changes how some relievers will be used. We don't see a lot of relievers in college going back-to-back days anymore, and certainly those who you thought about today, you're not going to go 2 games with them, 2 appearances in one day.
Conti with another great take, and it's 3-0 here. We'll see if he gets the green light. Conti went 2 of 4 yesterday. Jackson Miller in the on-deck circle.
At this juncture, I would not green light him. I would want to see Keenan pitch into more and more trouble.
And There is that trouble. A ball up high for the second walk of the inning for Keenan. And quickly now the bases are loaded. Going to be a meeting now. Looks like the infield is coming in. No coaches stepping out for Stanford, so just the players and Keenan going over the game plan here.
Williams was actually going on the pitch there. Will not count as a stolen base because it was ball 4, but he was moving.
So 2 walks, 2 strikeouts so far for Aiden Keenan, a junior 6'2", 200-pounder. Looking to get his first win of the season, 0 of 2 in 3 starts. And again, despite the high walk numbers, 13 walks on the season, he does only have a batting average against him of 196. So when you take out those walks and take out those base runners, he's had a very solid, productive season.
Yeah, you got it. And I'm sure the way offense, scouting report-wise, that we've got to be patient. We've got to make him work in the zone.
Well, now he has no choice but to work in the zone against Jackson Miller, as that one sails away from home plate. Quickly 1-0 on the sophomore from Palm Beach, Florida. Miller has a grand slam this season. He is on an 8-game hit streak. Trying to deliver another base-clearing hit here as he takes high for a 2-0 count.
So if I'm Lavin and I'm calling for his breaking ball, I'm going to set on the third base side of the plate and try to get him to drive that down towards home plate more, because he's tending to pull it off the first base edge right now.
We'll see what the 2-0 is, and that one in there for strike number 1. That was a gotta have it pitch right there. This will be pitch number 28 already. And it's a swing and a miss. Fastball chased out of the zone. Now here comes the opportunity to get out of this major jam in the bottom of the first for Keenan.
You may try to elevate the fastball again, or trying to get him to chase the breaking ball. You don't want to elevate the fastball out of the zone, but maybe pitch in the upper quadrant.
The payoff pitch. Outside, and that will bring... Oh, that's actually ball number 3. Looks like... Yes, that's ball number 3, so it's now a full count. The payoff pitch. In there for a backwards K. Aiden Keenan escapes a bases loaded jam, and we're now tied at 0 heading into the second. Head coach for Stanford, very decorated College World Series appearance back in 2023, 805 career wins overall. This is his 9th season at the helm of the Cardinal, and of course, I know, Dick, you got some history with him as well.
Yeah, he was when I was pitching coach for the college national team in 2003, he came in and helped us during the trials. Great baseball guy, was at Cal at the time, and Dave has done an outstanding job maintaining the great tradition of Stanford baseball.
And we could tell when we talked to him earlier this week on our Zoom call that he's just a guy that's still so passionate about this program, passionate about his players. And it's a young team in Stanford. They're on the up and up. A lot of talent that has come in over the past couple of years after a few down years for the Cardinal. And you can tell that he's really excited about what he's building there.
Yeah, he feels good about the guys he's bringing in. And I think the culture that he's got, which may or may not be an overused word now, but he runs the game the right way, runs his program the correct way.
And of course, California, no shortage of great baseball players to pick from there. Recruiting spoil of riches out in Cali, as first at bat of this inning is now 2-1. Jimmy Nadai at the plate, the Australian, going head-to-head with Chris Lavonis for the first time this afternoon. Lavonis struck out the side in the first inning to give him 36 strikeouts on the season. Nadai launches this one into the jet stream, and that one is a no-doubter over the left field wall. A solo shot to start off the second for Jimmy Nadai, his second big fly of the season, and Stanford takes the 1-0 lead.
No secrets on that fastball down Broadway. Nadai was on time.
Doesn't matter how fast you throw it if you're Lavonis. He can touch 100, one of the fastest arms in college baseball. But we'll get a second look here as that one right down Broadway. And again, it could be any speed, but right that down the middle, it's a bit too easy.
I think my hit's over by now.
So first home run given up on the season by Lavonis. How will he respond here against Luke Lavin, the catcher? First pitch, he goes with the breaking ball below the zone. And for Nadai, he's had a rough start to the season, so that one's got to be good for him. He's batting sub 200 through 12 starts. Got his second home run of the season. But again, he was an NCBWA All-American preseason second teamer. As Lavin flies out into left field right there to Jackson Miller. But for Nadai, he started 52 games last season with 9 doubles and a team best 16 home runs. So was a Gold Glove finalist at second base as well for the ABCA. So the guy that was expected to have a big season as a senior this year and got off to a rough start. Maybe that will turn things around.
Yeah, that just a great balanced approach in the batter's box.
So after Lavonis gets the first out, he tosses in a ball to Tatum Marsh, the third to last hitter in today's order for the Cardinal. It's quickly 2-0 on Marsh, who, like Nadai, had a really spectacular season last year, but is off to a bit of a slower start this campaign. Marsh was All-ACC freshman a year ago and second-team freshman All-America from 3 different outlets. But so far this season with a sub 600 OPS. Count 2-2 on Marsh, who, when we talked with Dave Esker this week, said he expects him to get back into form sooner rather than later.
25 pitches thus far. A whole lot of secondary stuff, whole lot of off speed, 7, 8 fastballs thus far.
And you wonder if that's Lavonis maybe trying to preserve those fastballs for higher leverage situations. We saw in the game against LMU last time out that he was taken out early despite a low pitch count because his fastball was really dipping below that average speed in the latter innings of the game as he issues a walk right here. So second base runner of the inning for the Cardinal, and with 1 down, that'll send up Brock Kettleson, one of those talented underclassmen.
He's got such great life on that fastball, and you can power it by you, running up there 98, 99. Love to see him establish that, work off of it. That'll make that secondary stuff even better.
There is some of the secondary stuff, an 80-mile-per-hour curveball, but it's just off the plate. And right now, for the first time really all season, it looks like Lavonis is struggling a bit with the strike zone.
That's 8 of his last 9 have been off speed pitches.
We'll see if he goes back to that bread and butter fastball that touches 100 miles per hour on a good day. And there's another off speed. This one settles into the zone, so it's a 1-1 count. But again, as you mentioned, it's a very interesting approach on the mound for Lavonis, who has really been the greatest of the best fastball pitcher that Wake has, and maybe the best in the country.
Yeah, his delivery is so sound. You just know he's going to fill up the zone.
Swing and a miss for a strike, throw down to second, and it pops out of the glove of J.D. Stein. Looks like they would have had their runner too if he was there, but instead it's a stolen base for Tatum Marsh, his first on the season in 3 tries.
Boy, he got a good pitch to throw. Keenan did, fastball up. Kettleson swung through it. Good quick release by Keenan. Was there in plenty of time.
So now a runner in scoring position with a 1-0 lead for Kettleson. And another ball, 2-2.
You know, and if you don't throw the fastball at times, sometimes you're going to get into modes where you're not commanding it as well as you need. And, you know, at 99, you're not nibbling on the edges necessarily. You throw it middle part of the plate and up, they're going to have a hard time catching up to it.
There's a swing and a miss, and that's the Chris Lavonis that we know. His 4th strikeout of the afternoon, as that's 2 outs now, trying to strand a runner on second.
That is an old-fashioned Uncle Charlie curveball, 12-6 spin, not a lot of horizontal break to it. Exactly where you want to throw it with 2 strikes on the hitter.
And to have that in your back pocket when you can reach back and hit triple digits, luxury that not a lot of pitchers in the country have.
Breaking stuff is in his front pocket today, it looks like.
There's a swing and a miss. That one, kind of in between fastball, 93 miles per hour.
Yeah, that was a slider-ish kind of, maybe calling that a cutter. Same type of action as a slider.
So Lavonis will take a step off the mound. After throwing about 70 pitches in 6 innings last week, he's already approaching the 35 mark here, and we're not even through inning number 2. As this one is flared up, straight back towards the catcher Keenan, and he'll make the play for the 3rd out. Stanford, though, gets 1 run across on a solo shot from Jimmy Nadai, as the Cardinal look to hold the lead in the bottom of the 2nd. Stanford leads in the bottom of the 2nd inning on a solo shot from Jimmy Nadai. Now Wake Forest back up to bat, and they loaded the bases in the bottom of the 1st inning before Aiden Keenan got out of that jam. There's a look now at Tom Walter, the head coach for Wake Forest, 2023 Coach of the Year in the conference. This year 17, the 2nd winningest coach in program history, and his team has been winning a lot as of late on a 13-game winning streak.
And like Dave Esker, Tom's done a great job of maintaining and adding to the great baseball history of Wake Forest. He's again runs the program the right way. They're a pleasure to compete against, and they're a pleasure to watch play.
So here is the catcher Jimmy Keenan going against Aiden Keenan on the bump. And again, that 1st inning, no runs across for the Demon Deacons, but worked that pitch count all the way to 30, loaded the bases. So a little bit of a silver lining if you're Tom Walter, as Keenan pounds one back foul.
Yeah, I think that's one of those innings you come away disappointed you don't score, but you look up on a doubleheader day and you just have the starter go 30 pitches. I think that's put that inning in the plus column, even though you didn't put a number on the board.
Probably the 2nd best outcome in general from that type of inning, especially as you mentioned on the doubleheader day. Keenan gonna try to get as deep into this one as he can. His career high is 87 pitches against Cal State Fullerton back on the 21st of February.
You can just see it. Keenan just drifting a little bit towards that right-handed hitter and is trying to pull balls back into the zone, and it's tough to, you want to apply force in a straight line towards home plate as long as you can, and sometimes if your body's drifting towards 3rd base, it's tougher to do that.
And that one, maybe tried to overcompensate a little, put it inside, so Keenan, with a 5-pitch walk, will make his way to 1st base. So that's back-to-back innings with a leadoff walk for the Demon Deacons. 3rd walk issued on the day for Aiden Keenan. Again, we touched on it. That's an issue for him on the season now. 16 walks, and this is roughly 16th inning of work.
Doesn't take a lot of base hits for a club to put a couple runs on the board, right? If you're walking the ballpark.
So now we'll see what Blake Schaff can do as that one. Looks like it's in there for strike number 1 on the outer edge of the zone. Schaff, this is 14th game, 12th start. Batting a hair over 280 on the season. And that one gets through the legs of the catcher Lavin. Runner makes all the way to 2nd, and it's not going to be a stolen base, but an advance on a wild pitch there. And Jimmy Keenan doing exactly what you said. Don't need a lot of hits to get runs on the board.
Yeah, Lavin came up out of that a little bit early. Needs to be getting down and smothering that. He obviously would like to have that one back.
Schaff, now with the runner in scoring position, he's driven in 6 on the season. The transfer from Georgetown, spent his first 2 years with the Hoyas, as he flares this one into left center, being called off for by Kettleson, and he'll make the grab. Runner won't tag up. So with 1 out, Keenan remains at 2nd, and that's an important one to get, just to get some momentum back on your side if you're Aiden Keenan.
Like getting that first guy for sure, any inning, but especially after a bases or leadoff walk.
It's now the bottom of the order for the Demon Deacons. J.D. Stein went 1 of 4, drove in a run yesterday. That was his 12th RBI on the season. Has started all but 1 game for the Demon Deacons this year. Takes a fastball right down the middle for strike number 1.
pretty high, a little bit towards the outside part of the plate. Good take by Stein. Great pitch there by Keenan.
Stein pushes that one back against the net. Quickly 0-2, and I feel like this at bat here with the 1 out, 1 runner on in scoring position, and with the bottom of the order, this is one that you really kind of have to get if you're Keenan with the way that the top of the order produced in that first inning.
A lot of options here. You can elevate a fastball, try to get him to chase that slider.
And he goes with a changeup of sorts, kind of right down the middle, but
that was his slider, got away a little bit up top. But again, he's a high spin rate breaking ball guy as well, so he doesn't have to be nibbling, throwing the ball in the dirt. He wants to pound the zone with that and make them try to barrel it up, which is hard to do with a high spin breaking ball.
1-2. And another close call. That's back-to-back pitches right on the edge of the zone, but no go, and it's 2-2 for J.D. Stein.
Just off the plate. Maybe.
And again, that's the approach for Wake Forest. They're going to make you earn those strikeouts, especially if they're not on swings. Stein flares this one down the right field line and out of play near the Stanford bullpen.
Wake has not put a lot of great swings on his fastball yet.
Stein giving a bit of a battle here, though. The freshman was the number 87 overall high school player in the class of 2025. Freshman has seen plenty of action so far, but he takes a strikeout there looking, and there's that off speed right down the middle that Keenan was looking for that entire at bat.
Boy, great spot for that 2-2 slider down and away. Kind of what we talked about. You don't have to throw that in the dirt to get him to chase. If he makes a pass at that, he's not going to hit it hard. That was a great pitch by Keenan right there.
Keenan now with 4 strikeouts in an inning and change of work after only having 3 strikeouts apiece in each of his last 2 starts. Finding success against this Wake lineup, and still, even with the bases loaded jam, no runs given up. Williams fans through the first offering of his second at-bat. Got walked in the top of the first.
Boy, Keenan would love to see a ball put in play early to keep his pitch count manageable as he jumps up to 45 now.
Would undo a lot of the damage from that first inning. Because there's a fastball just off the plate again. Some of these are really close calls for Linus Baker at home.
Yeah, great spot right there. Great down. You know, I love attacking with an 0-1 fastball. I think it's a great pitch. It's a good miss.
Keenan looks back at other Keenan on second as Williams swings through another slider there.
I just like seeing guys with middle to upper 90s fastballs using that pitch and establishing the strike zone and helping open up opportunities for the secondary stuff.
That secondary stuff has worked the past 2 at-bats, but can Keenan finish the job here? Ooh, no he can't. Barely grazed by Williams to stay alive in this one. And with Jimmy Keenan over on second base, he's been stationary there for the past 2 at-bats. Really no opportunities at all to even run.
Yeah, I think, he's in scoring position. Let's
Williams flares that one into left field. It's going to drop, and Keenan's going to come home off the stem of the bat, but it gets the job done, and Wake Forest ties up the game on that RBI bloop single from Javar Williams.
As Joe Garagiola used to say, it looked like he hit it with a rolled-up Sporting News right there. Fastball ran up a little bit, kept his hands inside of it. Got the benefit of a little jam job bloop.
Hey, it all shows up the same on the box score, and right there, it's a RBI single for Williams, his 9th run driven in on the year. Now Wake has a tie game. Throw back to first to keep Williams honest. 2 outs, so you don't know how they're going to handle Williams in terms of stealing any potential bases here. But again, top 3 in the country in deaths on the year. And there he goes. Lewis holds off the throw down to second. They got him. That doesn't happen often, but Stanford on a great throw from Luke Lavin throws out Javar Williams, and that will do it. So we're tied at 1-1 heading into the third. Welcome back to David F. Couch Ballpark. Jonah Weintraub alongside Dick Cook, and a challenge that happened during the break on that stolen base. We're waiting for the call, and there it is right off the bat. So Javar Williams picks up another steal on the season, his 15th, and the inning stays alive for the Demon Deacons. It looks like they ruled it obstruction on the shortstop. It's Bates, who got in the way of the path there, and yeah, that looks like a fair call.
Yeah, I think so. They changed that rule a couple years ago, and where the umpire was, he was a little bit behind, probably couldn't see that quite as clearly, so that's, I guess, the value of the replay.
So now another runner in scoring position, and Cade Lewis back up the bat. The count is 0-1 after he took that strike. And he powers this one sky high into the shallow outfield. Someone's got to get it for Stanford, and it's the center fielder, Kettleson. So that stolen base overturned, not for much, as we head now to the third inning, still tied at 1. You can see there on our camera shot the number 9 patch on all of the Stanford jerseys throughout the season to honor Mark Marquez, one of the most legendary coaches in college baseball history, passed away earlier this year on January 30th. And man, what a legacy he leaves behind.
Boy, an icon, internationally, collegiately, just well respected. The way he ran the game, his baseball knowledge, his diplomacy, just a great human and a great baseball guy.
Part of the American Baseball Coaches Hall of Fame, 4th winningest coach all time in the sport when he retired. Just a huge impact on Stanford and Stanford baseball as well, with those 2 College World Series titles in the 80s. Now the Cardinal looking to reach those heights once again. Have been a super solid program really throughout the entirety of their history, especially since Marcus took over. Now it's Dave Esker at the helm, and his squad tied 1-1 early on. Back to the top of the order with Rintaro Sasaki. Struck out his first time up. Sasaki punches this one down the left field line, and that's fair. Sasaki rounding for second, chugging over. And that throw bit off, and so it's a leadoff double for Sasaki, his second extra base hit of the series.
Off-speed offering of some nature at 91. Looked like it might have been a changeup. Elevated away. Sasaki just taking what was given him, fat ball up and away, and just drove it the other way.
Nice piece of hitting there from the sophomore. Again, we'll touch on his story throughout the broadcast. One of the most interesting players in all of college baseball. High school baseball legend in Japan. One of the most touted recruits in collegiate baseball of recent history. As now he stands at second while Teddy Tokheim fouls that one back for an 0-1 count. So far, the bigger story of this game is that Chris Lavonis has looked a bit human.
Yeah, it's. I think that approach right there by Sasaki showed a nice, mature, patient approach, and I think they've done a pretty good job of that as a lineup in whole.
Lavonis reaches back for the 1-0 fastball that is clipped foul. Chance for the first out here. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 5 on today for Chris Lavonis as he puts away Teddy Tokheim and gets the first out on the board here in the top of the third.
Tight slider at 86 up in the zone, but again, high spin rate guy, so he doesn't need to nibble with it, throw it in the zone. They're going to have a tough time putting a barrel on it.
Lavonis has given up 3 hits, 1 earned run on that solo shot from Nadai, and had his 5th strikeout with 1 walk issued. One of those hits that he's given up was to the guy at the plate now, Charlie Bates. He takes one a bit low for ball number 1. Bates singled in the first inning. Was the lone base runner for the Cardinal in that frame. Bates punches this one up towards center field. Williams tracking back. And is that one over the wall? Yes, it is. A 2-run shot from Charlie Bates. His second big fly of the season. And Stanford takes a 3-1 lead. That one just carried and carried and carried.
That was a wind-blown home run. You know, Bates struck that ball well, but certainly did not strike it left.
Williams just kept running and running back. Almost had a play on it there, but just goes over the yellow lining. So Lavonis, after only giving up 1 earned run in his first 14 2/3 of an inning pitched, has given up 3 here, and we're still in the top of the 3rd. Trying to bounce back there, gets a swing and a miss. On an 86-mile-per-hour pitch right down the middle to J.J. Moran. Moran punches the point, and it's a chopper foul.
Slider to get to 0-2. Now he could, try to throw that one again off the plate, can elevate that fastball at 96, 97. Try to get him to chase up high.
The 0-2. Skips across home plate. That was a ball out of the hand at 82 miles per hour. Just looks like it may have been a grip issue there. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Bring him up for the 6th strikeout of the day for Chris Lavonis, 2nd out of the inning.
Fastball was down, got on the inside part of the plate. Looks like it might have had a little of a sinking action to it.
His fastball, Lavonis, does have a lot of induced vertical break, so it's, again, not just a stationary fastball at 100 miles to, 98, 99 miles per hour. It gets a bit of a dip on it as well.
And if he can get that ball on the inside part of the plate to both side hitters, that's going to make him even that much better.
There's a first pitch strike right down the middle for Lavonis.
Quick change-up type offering at 93.
Jimmy Nadai, of course, hit that solo home run to open up the scoring in his last at-bat. But quickly falls behind 0-2. That one, a heat-seeking fastball right on the upper part of the zone.
98 on the outside corner. 0-1 count again. As I said earlier, I love the 0-1 fastball. Good cross pitch.
Chance for Lavonis to get out of the inning. And he fires that one right into the turf. Still has some room to play with. Count 1-2 now.
Sasaki hit that changeup for that double earlier in the inning. Now he's gone right on right with that changeup a couple times.
Looks like he went to it again right there.
That was his slider, which stayed up in the zone a little bit. Similar type speed to it.
Already over 50 pitches here, trying to get out of the 3rd inning. Lavonis from the stretch. And when he's missed in this at-bat, he's missed low.
Yeah, I would love to see Keenan sit middle part of the plate and say throw 98. Let's go get him right here.
The 2-2, we'll see what he does. And it's another off speed that's clipped foul. Count stays at 2-2. And as we were talking about in the earlier innings, it just looks like Lavonis is not calling on his fastball as much, whether that be for preservation reasons or just game plan reasons.
Yeah, I think the scouting report on him would say a lot of secondary stuff.
2-2 again. This one chopped over to 3rd. Throw across the diamond from Wentz. is there, and that ends the inning, but not before Stanford adds on 2 runs here in the top of the third thanks to a home run from Charlie Bates, his second of the season, as the Cardinals continue with a 3-1 lead heading into the bottom of the third. And some of the headlines from the early going in this weekend of ACC baseball. You can see Virginia run rules the number 8 UNC Tar Heels 13-3, and they've really had a great day to bat in Chapel Hill. But I think the story of the season so far in the conference has got to be that second headline. Georgia Tech, with the amount of runs that they're scoring, their offense is a well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah, I think their offense is pretty scary. I think it's going to be a very balanced league and very balanced league season in general. But I think Georgia Tech's offense is going to make them pretty difficult to knock out of that top spot.
Wake Forest is trying to gun for that spot in the ACC standings throughout the season. The Demon Deacons ranked 15th in the country after winning their 13th game in a row here last night against Stanford. That one 7-4 the final score. Here, though, today it's 3-1. The Cardinal out in front early thanks to a pair of home runs against Chris Lavonis.
Yeah, I think both teams have shown pretty good discipline and patience at the plate thus far.
Speaking of plate discipline, quickly 3-0 on Dalton Wentz, and all 3 of those have been competitive pitches from Aiden Keenan, but Wentz gets ahead. We'll see if he gets a green light here with no outs, no on. Does not, then it's a strike right down Broadway.
I was never a big green light guy without runners in scoring position. Personal preference. I'm sure the hitters would. My hitters said I was overly conservative, but
here's a pop fly into left field. McDonald gets underneath and makes the first out of the inning. So after a 3-0 count, Wentz takes strike number 1 and then pops that one out. So nice start to the frame for Aiden Keenan.
fastball in the zone, but on the upper half. And again, the velocity that Keenan's got, that's just going to be hard to catch up to the Wake hitters, or for the Wake hitters.
So that brings up Luke Costello, who struck out his first time around, went 1 of 4 last night with an RBI single. It holds off on that one. It's a bit high, and good take there from the another tough take for Costello. 2-0 is the count.
I think Keenan's got some deception in his delivery as well. He's got a very short backswing with his arm stroke as he leaves the glove. Quick arm, gets the arm up fast. I don't think the hitters see the ball well until late. I think he's got to make sure he's drifting down the slope directly to the plate, avoiding getting across his body with a stride direction.
That one up and in, and it's a 4-pitch walk for Costello. He gets on base for the first time today. And another one of those free passes issued by Keenan. That's been about the only issue he's had the entire game so far. So the 4th walk for Keenan on the afternoon, adding to his season total. He's up to 17 now on the campaign. And speaking of walks, here's Matt Conti, who drew one in his first go-around. Now has 17 walks drawn on the season with just 8 strikeouts. And in a lineup full of players with elite plate discipline, perhaps none better than Conti right now. Takes a big swing at that off-speed offering, and the count evens at 1-1.
Missed with the breaking ball, repeated it. Good adjustment. Not a bad pass on it by Conti, but he's geared up for fastball there. Good time to go with a non-fastball and that fastball count by the Stanford coaching staff.
And there, right back with the fastball. Gets in for strike number 2. And this is where Conti becomes a real thorn in the side. He's just so difficult to put away at the plate. Flares that one foul. Drops down before any Cardinal player can get there.
See Lavin scooting inside there. They went with the fastball on the inside part of the plate. Nice job by Keenan of getting the ball there. That helps open up the outside part of the plate for any of his offerings now, if he chooses to go out there.
Still 1-2 on Conti. And that is another great take. Up high and in just a bit.
That's just hard to lay off, right? 94. It just looks very inviting to a hitter when you're throwing it right at the letters.
He makes rejecting it look way too easy. As there's another foul ball, and this is what we're talking about. Just very difficult to strike out. At a bare minimum, he's going to try to put something into play, whether it's an out or at least just advancing the runner.
Well, and I'm sure the wheels are turned in the Stanford dugout relative to the coaching staff thinking about their bullpen as he gets to 66 pitches. He hasn't had any low leverage innings yet. Hasn't had that 6-pitch inning that come off quickly. So they've got to start thinking about how we're going to manage this. Oh yeah, we've got game 2 today as well.
And for what it's worth, a very nice bounce back game so far for Keenan after only 3 2/3 against Fresno State last time out on the 27th, where he gave up 3 earned and only had 3 strikeouts with 5 walks. Gave up a career high 6 hits in that game and threw 86 pitches in less than 4 innings.
I'm tired hearing that, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like a week almost isn't enough to bounce back from that, but Keenan on the mound, it's his birthday, and he gets a hesitant swing and a miss out of Conti after a long battle of an at-bat. That's out number 2 and crucial one for the Cardinal.
Great spot for this breaking ball, down and away, unhittable spot right there. That's how you draw it up.
And you could tell that Conti was almost second-guessing that the second that he turned his shoulders into the swing. But for Keenan, make it strikeout number 5 on the afternoon. Time called for Jackson Miller, who struck out looking to end the first inning. Takes another breaking ball inside. That pitch is really starting to work for Keenan.
Yeah, I think he's got to visualize driving it down the third base side of the plate and let the movement take it to the first base side. Then he won't pull across.
And there's that fastball up high. Big swing and a miss out of Jackson Miller. Count now 0-2 and a chance for Keenan to get out of the inning and preserve this 3-1 advantage.
Boy, he's got so many options here. Throw his fastball into a variety of spots. He can throw the breaking ball.
This one hammered into right field. Marsh at the track, and he misses the catch. Went for the diving attempt. It's no good. Miller going to round over to third, and he'll stay there, but it's an RBI triple that brings home Luke Costello and pulls Wake within 1. Marsh kind of tripped up there on that hilly part of the warning track, took a tumble and allowed Miller to get a standing triple, as just when you thought that Keenan was out of the woods, Wade comes up with a timely extra base hit.
Little home field advantage there with the slight incline going up towards the right field fence.
The turf monster got him a bit. An unfortunate break for the Cardinal, and now a runner 90 feet away from home with Jimmy Keenan up at the plate.
That 0-2 fastball to Miller was not where Keenan wanted it. It was middle part of the plate. Wasn't up high enough or out far enough, depending which area he was trying to exaggerate it to. Nice pass on it by Miller.
Jimmy Keenan blasts this one into right field. That's going to drop, and this game is tied. A Keenan on Keenan single to level the game at 3 as Jackson Miller comes across home plate. Just when you thought that Stanford had all the momentum in this one, 2 outs, back-to-back hits, a triple and a single to level this game at 3 apiece. All the momentum has suddenly flipped with the Demon Deacons.
Kind of a loopy breaking ball there. Didn't have a lot of downward late action to it. Set up just enough for Keenan to get his barrel to it. was on the outside part of the plate, but it just had a little elevation to it. Kind of popped out of Keenan's hand at release.
First pitch to Schaff, off the plate. Schaff flew out in the first at-bat of the day in the second inning. Keenan over on first. And that's a strike. Again, that breaking ball. That's what's been working for him. The fastball has been tagged up a little bit here in this inning. Keenan pushes that one inside. Schaff went 2 of 4 yesterday with an RBI single. Looking to keep this inning going. J.D. Stein, the 9-hole hitter in the on-deck circle. This one chopped and handled easily by the first baseman, but it's going to be ruled foul at the last second by our first base umpire, Aaron Higgins.
So Keenan threw 30 pitches in the first inning. He threw 21 in the second, and he's sitting at 26 now. So he's not had a lot of low-intensity innings yet.
And when we talked to Dave Esker, he said that he needs his guys to start getting through some more of these innings in long games. He needs 6 to 8 innings out of them on any given day. Looks like that's going to be far from a possibility here today, barring any crazy changes.
Hard to do that when you're averaging well over 20 pitches an inning.
This number 78 swung through, and that ends the inning, but not before Wake Forest tacks on 2 runs to level this game at 3 apiece. Stanford back up the bat after this from the couch. Knotted up at 3 through 3, and this has just been an absolute joy of a game so far. Both teams matching each other's punch for punch right now, and Stanford back up the bat, but again, the score actually reflects it exactly, Dick. 1 run apiece for each team in the second, 2 runs apiece for each team in the third. One of these is going to pull away down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it's important for Livonis to have an efficient, quick inning here, or this is going to become a battle of bullpens in not too much longer of a period of time.
So first pitch of the fourth, just off the plate. Fastball at 95. Livonis enters this frame with just over 50 pitches on the afternoon. And this one hammered deep into left field, back along the warning track, and it's going to drop and hop over the fence for a ground rule double. Luke Lavin gets his first hit of the afternoon and leads off the fourth with an extra base hit.
You know, that's wind aided as well. I mean, I don't know that that was catchable because of where it was relative to the gap, but that ball carried pretty decently given how that sounded off his bat.
And we've really seen this throughout the day on the home runs, the extra base hits. You can see the flags in the background of that shot right there blowing directly into the outfield. And
yeah, you could see Lavin was a little bit out in front on that. Rear end kind of went back, hands went out, and all of a sudden you got a 370-foot ground rule double.
Marsh takes first pitch low for a ball, and now for Livonis on the afternoon. That is the 4th hit that he's given up. Make it the 5th, actually. Marsh with a big hack, comes up empty there. Count moves to 1-1. Marsh in that last inning, the right fielder who just couldn't get to the triple from Jackson Miller. Made a diving attempt on the warning track, but there's a bit of a hill on the warning track in that part of the field, so he got tripped up and it ended up bringing home a run. Now has a chance to bring home a run himself with a runner in scoring position.
That was one of the better fastballs that Livonis has thrown over the past couple innings. 97, had good life to it late, ran in a little bit to the third base side of the plate.
1-2. Marsh right back to Livonis, holds the runner. They're going to try to go for the pickle here. Wake chasing down and gets the lead runner. Nice job there as Lavin got caught up in between second and third, and a heady play made by Livonis on a quick notice.
Yeah, good play. That ball was hit hard. He doesn't get a glove on that. That's going to be up the middle.
You see Lavin got a bit of a big jump on that one. Maybe didn't even expect Lavonis to go back to that area.
As that base runner, you can't move. You get a good secondary lead and you're thinking third, but you can't be scooting until that ball gets past the pitcher.
So now a runner on first with one out. Bit more routine of a situation here for Lavonis as he fires one high. Ball one to Brock Kettleson. Second to last hitter in the order for the Cardinal. 1 of 12 now on the season after striking out in the second inning. Looking to get going is Kettleson, who's out in the outfield today in the center. That's a strike on the outer edge of the plate. Runner was threatening to go, but instead Marsh holds up at first.
Not quite as much life on the fastball right now from as we've seen earlier in the game for Lavonis.
Kettleson takes low on another fastball. Again, these are about 96, 97 miles per hour, so still a lot of juice on that fastball, but comparative to what we've seen.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem to be hopping quite as much as it was earlier in the game, those last few feet at the plate.
Marsh threatens to go again, but that's going to be a strike on the 3-1, so count runs full, chance for Lavonis to pick up a second out here, and I think ideally wants to keep this, the pitch count in total around 70 by the time that they get out of this inning, ideally. Payoff pitch. Down low, and that's a walk for Kettleson. Second walk of the day for Lavonis.
You know, first pitch of the game he threw to Sasaki was a slider. Second pitch was a fastball at 99. He threw a handful of 99s first couple innings.
Now Jimmy Keenan meeting one-on-one with Lavonis on the bump, and it looks like pitching coach Eric Neeson is going to come out as well with the rest of the infield. Don't expect a change to be made here, obviously, but going over the situation with 2 on, 1 down, and Stanford kind of seeing Lavonis as well as any team has the entire season.
Yeah, good patient at bats. They've put good passes on a few, and you know, and get a favorable win, suddenly you're a little more confident at the plate.
So we'll resume here with Court McDonald, the 9-hole hitter, up to bat. He popped out his first time around in the second inning. Limited action so far this season, came into the day 4 of 15, but 2 of those hits were for doubles. So he's got some extra base power in that bat. The right on left matchup, and McDonald starts with a strike right down the middle at 97.
Good fastball to start. A little bit in the outside half, down well in the zone.
Lavonis looking back at second. This one poked foul. So quickly 0-2 on McDonald. It goes without saying this would be a crucial out for Lavonis in the Wake defense.
That's one of the few times today that he's gone back-to-back fastballs after throwing a fastball for a strike. In fact, I think that's the second time he's gone fastball after a fastball for a strike.
You wonder if that was an adjustment made with the pitching coach,
Possibly.
Eric Neeson, potentially telling Lavonis also that maybe his pitch count is getting up there, so empty the tank a little bit. It's 1-2. Lavonis still in the driver's seat, and he gets a swing and a miss on the off speed. Beautiful breaking ball to pick up another strikeout on the afternoon. Number 7 for Lavonis. More importantly, a second out here with 2 runners on.
Good spot for that curveball. Got down and in on the lefty.
situationally, that feels like the biggest pitch of the day so far for either side.
Yeah, nice job by Keenan of being down, prepared for that ball to be in the dirt, kept it in front.
So now you've got the top of the order with Rentaro Sasaki. Had that double last time out, scored on the ensuing home run. And a curveball settles into the zone, or not. That one another close call at the plate, but it's 1-0. Benefit goes to the batter.
Boy, Sasaki did such a nice job on that changeup last at bat that was elevated and drove it the other way.
And again, Sasaki, very touted recruit out of Japan, the high school home run record leader in Japan, and had a, by some means, underwhelming freshman season according to the expectations that were almost unfairly put upon him heading into his freshman campaign. And so far this sophomore season, a slow start, but has settled in the past couple of games. Hit that home run last night, has the double here today, batting average all the way up to 230.
Yeah, he passes the eye test and how he approaches the game for sure.
Crucial at bat for Sasaki here as he takes low. Count moves to 2-1.
We were talking last night how simple his approach is in the box. Very few moving parts. He doesn't have a big knee lift. He's a very short stride. Not a lot of movement. His head stays very quiet, and that allows him to see the ball so well and utilize that bat speed that he's got.
Goes with bat speed there, but swings through 90-mile-per-hour pitch right down the middle. So it's 2-2 on Sasaki. Big turning point potentially in this ball game here in the top of the fourth. 11 home runs for Sasaki in a year and change with Stanford. Can he deliver here? Swings through the fastball, 98 miles per hour, and Lavonis escapes the jam. Still tied at 3 heading into the bottom of the fourth, thanks to that strikeout by Lavonis, his 8th of the game. Albeit windy day, that's benefited the batters a bit in this one. 2 home runs for Stanford as this game is tied up. There's Aiden Keenan back on the bump for the Cardinal. Wake Forest has not led in this game yet, trying to do so here, starting off with J.D. Stein, the 9-hole hitter, up to bat.
Keenan needs an efficient inning here. We talked about that for Lavonis last half. Same thing for Keenan. He's had a lot of high pitch count innings, sitting at 78 through the 3 thus far. Bullpen is going hot for Stanford right now.
That pitch sails over the head of J.D. Stein, who struck out looking his first time around in the second inning. Keenan threw a career-high 87 pitches on the 21st against Cal State Fullerton, threw 86 in each of his other 2 games as Stein golfs this one up towards left field. It's playable, and McDonald calls for it, gets out number 1, and a quick out, exactly what the doctor ordered for Aiden Keenan.
He needs a couple more.
If you're Dave Esker, ideally you can get Keenan through this inning unscathed and then maybe hand it over to the bullpen for the back half of this ball game.
Yeah, and they're moving hot enough in the bullpen that makes me think if he gets through this half, this could be his last one. Again, he hasn't had a low pitch count inning, so it's been a fairly fatiguing type of day for him.
Starts off with the ball here to Javar Williams, who had an RBI single that he delivered in the second inning to give Wake its first run of the afternoon. Average now up to 350 on the season. Takes inside for strike number 1.
I love Williams' approach and patience at the plate as well. Took a good swing at the first pitch of the game.
He's almost the perfect prototype for a leadoff guy as well, with the speed that he has on the base path, his approach at the plate with the only 8 strikeouts and 12 walks on the season.
Yeah, you just don't get the sense he's going to chase bad pitches as he lays off a really good breaking ball right there,
right
just
on
off
cue.
the edge.
Right on cue. Got Nostradamus, Dick Cook. Not a big difference between those two as that one, again, really impressive take for Williams. Has gotten on base both times today. Chops this one in the infield. Tough play made. Throw across the diamond. Not in time. Williams was flying down the line in the throw from Bates. Didn't have enough velocity to get there, so it's an infield single. Second hit of the day for the leadoff man for Wake.
Boy, Bates did a nice job getting to that ball, getting rid of it quickly. Just too much pure speed by Williams.
Get a second look at it here. By the time Bates gets the ball, Williams is already there, and looks like that's the right call in real time.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Williams did a nice job of not jumping for the bag there. He just ran through it, which is going to make you faster than trying to jump forward, also safer.
Williams also, with those long strides, was able to get there, and you can see that perfectly timed out the extension of when his foot hit the bag. So that's the first pitch. Down for ball number one. Cade Lewis up to bat. Singled in the first inning. Again, didn't score as Wake left the bases loaded in that first inning.
That was Keenan holds Williams and it tries to stop the running game. He's got to, he can make all the pickoff throws he wants, but your best way to do it is to vary your tempos, your long sets, being willing to pitch out of a long and pick off out of a long set. That slows the running game down more than anything.
That's a strike on the outer edge for the 1-2 count. And if you remember in the second inning, Williams was caught stealing originally, but then it was ruled an interference on Bates at third base, or second base rather, when he tried to steal. So he got the base and eventually scored, as this one is shot right up the middle. Williams going to go first to third, hesitates for a sec. The throw, not in time, bounces off the glove of Moran. So a single, courtesy of Cade Lewis, his second base hit of the day, puts runners on the corners for Wake with one down, and Dalton Wentz, who's 0 for 2 on the day, bit due for a big hit here, you'd say.
Another great example of Williams' speed right there. And there's a whole lot of good base runners who wouldn't think about going to third there, and Williams conversely didn't think about stopping.
Now a visit coming to the mound. Big time moment in this game for the Stanford pitching staff. Keenan has given up 6 hits now, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and 3 earned, but Wake Forest threatening here with runners on the corners and only 1 down. And of course, most important factor in that is Dalton Wentz, the team's most productive hitter throughout the entirety of this season, is up at the plate, ready to go.
Yeah, if you're Wake Forest, this is drawn up pretty well for you as far as who's at the plate. We're making a pitching change, it looks like.
It took a bit of time for that decision to be made, but Aiden Keenan ends this start on his 21st birthday with 3 earned over 6 3.1 innings, with potential more to come here. And Sam Gerwal, a senior out of San Diego, California, a constant relief presence so far this season. 3 appearances for the Northwestern transfer senior, looking to get out of a jam here, put into a high leverage situation, Dick, with 2 runners on the corners and only 1 out so far for Stanford.
High leverage situation for sure, switching Wentz around to the right side. Garwal, a big left-hander, comes straight over the top, gets across his body a little bit with his stride, creates a little bit of deception there. Pretty good strike thrower, which Keenan struggled with a little bit today.
Keenan, stat line has yet to go final, of course, because the runners on base would be his earned if they were to happen to score for Wake Forest. But for Gerwal, he comes in with 8 strikeouts and 1 walk in just 4 innings of work, with only 1 run given up. Last time against Fresno State on the 1st was his last appearance, with 4 strikeouts in 2 innings with no hits allowed. So he's had some good stuff out of the bullpen this season. Started his career at Northwestern. He's an all Big Ten freshman selection for the Wildcats. Now makes his way back to his home state, and here in Winston-Salem, a high leverage situation to say the least. First pitch, fastball up high to Dalton Wentz, who course, is a switch hitter, so he goes over into the other batter's box from where he was against the righty Keenan.
A little surprised. I like the fact we went fastball there. A little surprised we didn't see an off-speed pitch in this scenario with runners in scoring position.
That one goes into the lap of the catcher, Lavin. Maybe you're just playing it a bit safe with Wentz. Don't want to leave anything hanging, perhaps, but still, don't want to load the bases either. It's not like the rest of the batting order following Wentz can't get the job done. And in fact, it's been the bottom half of the order, along with Javar Williams at the top of the lineup, that's done most of the damage so far today for the Demon Deacons.
Looks like Garrell has a tendency to step quite a bit across his body, which can tend to force you to pull back into the zone a little bit. Maybe some misses down and in or up and away.
And that's a walk to Dalton Wentz. His first time on the base path today. So now the bases are loaded. Garwal has a tough proposition here. It's Luke Costello up to bat, who has 3 home runs on the season in just 7 games started. You have to think he gets a bit of a green light here with...
Not a lot of secrets from Garwal there. Went straight fastballs on all 4.
That one is hammered into center field. All the way back, and this one is a grand slam. 1 pitch, 4 runs for Luke Costello, his 4th of the season. And Wake Forest blows this game open here in the bottom of the 4th.
Fastball looked like it was center cut. Wasn't on the edge, appeared to be belt high, maybe a tick above. Costello was timed up and great pass on it.
That one a no-doubter to dead center, right towards the batter's eye, and suddenly Wake Forest finds itself up 7-3. So Garwal reloads and goes with a breaking ball into Matt Conti. We get a second look at that grand slam. Just really well squared up.
I mean, hitters don't feel they should ever miss that pitch, given where it was located.
That's a strike in there. It's quickly 0-2 on Matt Conti, who struck out his last time around against Aiden Keenan.
Garwal threw an off-speed pitch, breaking ball, first pitch here to Conti at 77, came back with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball.
And that's a strikeout right there. So with the bases cleared, Garwal bounces back a bit with that second K of the day for Matt Conti, second out of the inning.
Looked like that might have been a changeup, a little bit of deceleration in his arm. A little surprised he didn't throw an off-speed offering out there prior to that first pitch to Conti. We didn't see any from to Wentz or obviously to Costello. Breaking ball again there.
So here's Jackson Miller again. Working ahead in this count now, 2-0. For Stanford, they were playing with fire really from the get-go of this game on defense. They loaded the bases for Wake in the first inning before, of course, Wake stranded all 3 of those runners aboard. But this time, of course, a grand slam to bring all 4 home. Law of averages working out just a bit there for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, you just can't avoid getting hurt by walks. You know, it was the occasional game where that's going to not be the case, but rarely does you survive that.
And speaking of walks, there's a 4-pitch free pass issued by Garwal, bringing Jackson Miller on to the base path for the second time in a row. Is that RBI triple that came in the last inning, and now he's on first base with 2 down and Jimmy Keenan up to bat. Keenan brought home Jackson Miller on an RBI single last time around in that third inning rally. As Garwell loads that one in, 91. A big load up and swing from Keenan. Comes up empty, so the count levels at 1 apiece. Garwell.
Good change right there. That's a 72 mile an hour pitch. That's almost 20 miles an hour off of his fastball. If he maintains his arm speed at release, that's going to be really deceptive to the hitters.
That one clobbered into out center field. Back against the batter's eye, and that's a 2-run shot. Jimmy Keenan with his second hit of the day, 3rd run driven in, and that one, again, a no-doubter for the catcher. Wake Forest extends the lead here with its 6th run of the frame.
Another changeup. Looked like he went back-to-back. That one up a little bit, not where you want to throw at 0-2. Keenan, a really good job keeping his weight back.
Keenan got under that one. Again, the wind helping all the way out there in center field, and Kettleson had no choice but to watch that one fly over his shoulder, and that went into the forest behind the field here at the couch. So after this game was tied at 3 apiece, Wake Forest putting up a crooked number here in the bottom of the 4th to pull ahead by 6. That's a first pitch ball. Garwell still in the game, trying to push through this onslaught from the Demon Deacons. Blake Schaff up to bat. He's finishing out the trip around the order here in the inning alone.
You know, the chess match always...
Oh, this one is hit deep into left field, being tracked down, and the catch can't be made. McDonald miscalculated that one, and it's a double for Blake Schaff as he gets on into second base. Inning stays alive, and now we're back up where we started with J.D. Stein.
Looked like McDonald might have gotten fooled a little bit. Ball didn't carry as much as maybe he thought it might. I thought his speed was correct, his route was correct, but suddenly that ball didn't carry quite to the level he thought it would.
And for the time being, that is being ruled as a double.
Yeah, I think it's got to be. I think not an ideal play, but I don't think you can give an error there.
So Garwell's tough outing continues as he fires that one in high on the shoulders of J.D. Stein, who, believe it or not, actually began this inning with a flyout. So there was 1 out on the board when Wake has done all this damage. 2 outs for a good portion of the rest of the inning.
You know, it just complicates Stanford's thinking relative to bullpen management with a 9-inning game to follow this, regardless of how this one ends. You know, how long do you leave Garwell out there to save other arms in the bullpen, and what guys do you think about possibly using in this one, knowing you might not be able to use it in game 2?
Another pitch inside, or rather that one actually was ruled a strike. Looks like a bit of a generous call there, but regardless, to count 2-1 on J.D. Stein. Base path has been musical chairs for the Demon Deacons this inning. And that just a 72 mile per hour. It says 69 on the board here, 72. So, and either way, a very slow roller in for strike number 2.
That is a soft change.
Flared into right field. This is going to be a tough play to make for Marsh. And the sliding grab is there. Nice play in foul territory from the right fielder to finally stop the bleeding, but not before Wake adds 6 here in the bottom of the 4th with help of a grand slam from Luke Costello. All 3 runs driven in via the big fly. That was Jimmy Nadai with a solo shot early in the 2nd inning, and then later in the 3rd, Charlie Bates adds a 2-run shot right near that same left field wall. Stanford had this game tied at 3, but since those two highlights have happened, not a lot to be excited about if you're a Cardinal fan, because Wake Forest just put up 6 in the bottom of the 4th, thanks to 2 home runs of their own. And now we head into the 5th with a 9-3 ball game on our hands. Jonah Weintraub alongside Dick Cook. And this Wake offense going to wake very quickly, and they just did so right there.
Boy, you give them a 17-mile-an-hour wind blowing out, they're a little better, right?
That's an offense that's already pretty dang good.
Yeah. Didn't need to be adding any help with the wind.
Tokheim dribbles this one right back to Lavonis. Routine throw over to Lewis at first, and that's one away here in the top of the 5th. Lavonis back on the mound after that really triumphant end to the last inning where he struck out Rentaro Sasaki with a pair of runners on the base path.
Yeah, now it's important. Don't walk people. Get out of here quick after you put a big number up. Once your offense gives you that crooked number, don't let the other club back into the ball game.
And we'll see what the leash is in terms of pitch count for Lavonis, especially with the way that he can reach back and throw that fastball. Like we see right there, that 194 miles per hour, a little bit lower as we get later into this ball game, but it was tipped for a strike by Charlie Bates, who hit one of those home runs.
Yeah, he threw 15 in the first inning, 19 pitches in the second and third, 24 last inning. So aside for the first, he's worked hard in the other 3. I'm sure the blood is flowing in the Wake Forest bullpen at this point as he gets to the 80, close to the 80 pitch mark.
Already surpassing his pitch count from last Saturday against Loyola Marymount, where he threw 6 perfect innings with 14 strikeouts. It was always going to be difficult to replicate that type of success, especially against an ACC opponent, but Lavonis has had his high points today with 8 strikeouts. As this one is golfed into left field, being tracked down by Miller, and he makes the play along the warning track. Deep fly ball puts 2 outs on the board here, and with just under 80 pitches on the tally for Chris Lavonis, this is a big 3rd at-bat here. So the 2 outs will set the stage for J.J. Moran and look at what Stanford's done this series. 11 hits through 1.5 ball games, and a lot of it has come on the extra base hits. The 2 home runs today. They've had a double today as well, courtesy of Rentaro Sasaki, and he scored on that one. So even against some of Wake's great arms like Morningstar yesterday and Lavonis here today, Stanford has had the big swing in them. It's been the in-between stuff that's been lacking a bit for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Coach Esker feels like he's got some guys who can run the ball out of the ballpark, match up similarly with Wake's approach. They're not going to be a station-to-station, bunch of singles type of a club. Feels like they'll be able to hit the occasional 3-run homer.
1-1 count on J.J. Moran, who has 3 homers of himself on the season. Did he go around there? Peel to first, no go. Count now 2-1. Moran has had a rough start to this series. 0 of 3 yesterday with 2 strikeouts. 0 of 2 today with a pair of strikeouts as well. Looking to get on base for the first time this weekend. As he hits this one deep into left field, he's going to hang along the warning track, and play made once again. That's Jackson Miller in left field, as a quick 1-2-3 inning sends us to the bottom of the 5th. Wake maintains its 9-3 advantage. For the Cardinal here in the bottom of the 5th. After that last inning, Aiden Keenan, the starter for Stanford, his final stat line, 3 1/3, 6 hits given up, 5 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, but 4 walks as well. So a difficult day for Keenan on his 21st birthday, but still some highs amongst all the lows.
He's an exciting arm. He's going to be very good. He's very good. Good velocity, good stuff, good delivery.
It's just a junior season for Keenan and really was a reliever last year. 24 games that he played with a 2-3 record. Had a team best 5 saves out of the bullpen. So that adjustment to starting, never easy regardless of the talent level. Keenan throws a career high 89 pitches in this one as well. So far 24 for Garwal. There's a fastball on the 2-0. Javar Williams has had a whale of a day so far, really a whale of a series. Went 3 of 5 yesterday with a double. So far is 2 of 2 today with a pair of singles and a walk. Has been a very looming presence on the base path as well with all his speed. Williams lines this one right up the middle, and that's a third base hit for number 14. Make it 6 hits in 2 games for Javar Williams as he gets aboard here as the leadoff man in the 5th.
You know, he took a 2-0 fastball that most hitters would have come out of their shoes on and just patiently drives the 2-1 fastball up the middle part of the field. Great path with his hands. Does a nice job staying inside the baseball. As you mentioned, a great top of the order guy.
6 of 8 in this series with a double and now a walk as well, as this one is lined over the head of Nadai at second. Williams had to hold up for a second as it was kind of a very lofting ball off the bat of Cade Lewis, but it's a single nonetheless, his 3rd single of the afternoon, and 2 on with no down for the Demon Deacons, right back in business where they picked up at the last inning.
Wentz was the first batter Garwal faced, saw 4 fastballs, all were balls. Garwal's shown that really soft, but effective at times breaking ball or change up at 69 to 71 miles an hour. Breaking ball he'll throw in there at 82-ish.
No coaches out there for the Cardinal right now. You could be wondering if they're doing a delayed substitution here out of the bullpen, but no signs of any of the Stanford staff coming out. No pitching coach. Thomas Eager, Dave Esker is still in the bunker.
It could be buying a little time for the bullpen, although they're not moving real hot right now. There's one gentleman up who may be ready. But again, Stanford's got to think about not just this one, but the next one, relative to what arms we're going to use, how deep they want to get Garwal in. Looks like they're making a move now.
Yep, Garwal coming out of the game after he gives up 2 base hits to start off the 5th inning. A difficult day for the senior, but Wake Forest will look to continue its hot hitting after this. Bottom of the 5th, 9-3. Gomez, a sophomore out of Anaheim Hills, California, the left-handed pitcher. Sorry, the righty is making his 5th appearance of the season. Has 7 1/3 of innings work under his belt so far, 10 strikeouts, 4 walks, but did have a rough showing on March 1st against Fresno State, his last time out, with 6 earned runs in just 1 inning and 2/3. Trying to bounce back today, and just like Sam Garwal came into this game out of the bullpen, it's not an easy situation to come into at all.
Yeah, got to, as a pitcher does every time he comes in, got to pound the strike zone. Gomez, fastball, breaking ball, changeup, high arm slot, high 3/4 release, steps across his body a little bit some deception in his delivery. He's got a pretty good turn when he comes set to that right-handed hitter. Just got to keep his fastball low to mid-90s.
Dalton Wentz, who was hitting as a righty last time out against Garwal, will switch back to a left-handed side here. And he was the first batter to face Garwal. He's the first batter now to face Gomez. And both times he has not seen a strike.
4 at-bats, he's seen 3 pitchers.
3-0.
Threw the 1-0 change for a ball and then repeated it there, which is the correct thing to do with a hitter like Wentz at the plate. I might be green lighting Wentz here.
Instead, Wentz takes that one right down the middle. It's a fastball for strike number 1. Chance for Wentz to extend this Wake Forest lead. He has not got a hit today. And he swings through that offering. Count runs full.
Really good late downward sink on that changeup there. Started at the bottom part of the zone and ran down out of the hitting area for Wentz.
Wentz drives this one right into right field. Williams is going to turn and stay at third base. So it's the first hit of the day for Wentz, but it's 3 singles in a row to start this frame for the Demon Deacons, and the bases are loaded with no outs.
There's an off-speed offering as well. Looked like it might have been a breaking ball, had a little bit of movement to the first base side of the plate, but regardless, good job by Wentz of keeping his hands back. The ball was elevated just a little bit.
And look who that brings to the plate, Luke Costello. Last time he was up, the bases were loaded, and he cleared them with a dead center grand slam. Holds off on that first pitch offering. You can tell that he's rearing up to try to make another impact swing in this ball game.
He might like to have that pitch back right there, 93, about mid-thigh high over the little middle part of the plate.
Doesn't hold off on the second pitch, but flares it foul. So the count quickly 0-2 on Costello, who struck out in his first at-bat. Since then has a walk in that grand slam. Stanford can't be too picky about which way you get an out here, but a double play ball would be something that would be very helpful for them at this juncture of the game.
Speed of some nature there. We're going to call that a slider. Looks like it popped out a little bit.
Good take up high from Costello. Count levels at 2.
2-2. We like thinking best pitch that day. Right now, with Gomez, I think will he go fastball challenge right here?
And boy, is it a big challenge with Costello, who pops this one up on the infield. That's exactly what you want if you're Stanford. Play made at first by Tokheim, and that's 1 out. Runners can't advance, just like you drew it up if you're the Cardinal.
Fastball down a little bit, outside part of the plate. I think Costello would like to have that one back.
Stanford still with work to do here to keep these runs off the board. Of course, worth mentioning a 10-run margin run rule after the 7th inning in ACC play. Right now the margin is 6, so it's a decent amount of, well, really, if the double-digit clinching run is at the plate right now in the form of Matt Conti.
That for sure plays a role when you're thinking offensively, how you're managing your club if you're the Wake Forest coaching staff. You are very aware that, hey, we could end this game in 7, which is going to help save bullpen arms. It's sort of an odd thing to think about, but it absolutely comes into play now.
Clipped foul by Conti. Count moves to 2-1. Conti, the sophomore out of Massachusetts, after making 24 starts last year with a .295 average, 5 home runs, 15 runs driven, and has really seen a sophomore leap so far this season. This is his 15th game started. And he swings through the 2-1. Nice fastball there from Cohen Gomez.
Yeah, it's the best fastball he's thrown. 94, that's his best ball. Got it up above the hitting, up above his hands. Conti just couldn't catch up to it.
Conti grazes that one foul, stays alive in the count. And again, we mentioned on the season came into the day with 16 walks and 8 strikeouts, so an unbelievable ratio in that department. But he does have a pair of strikeouts in his last 2 at-bats after being walked in the first inning of this ball game. Another foul ball from Conti. Saw that one a little bit better, though.
Yeah, and clearly the book on Conti is, if we're going to go fastball, we're going to try to beat him in. He's done a good job of fighting off a bunch of fastballs in today. A good job by Gomez of getting it there, which is hard to do.
Gomez looking for a crucial second out, and another foul ball. Again, this is what Conti does best. These long at-bat battles is just so difficult to put away with a strikeout. Does have 2 of them today, as mentioned.
This is now pitch 8 of this at bat.
Pitch number 9 is a ball, so we'll run it full and at least have double-digit pitches here in this singular at-bat, with Williams at third, Lewis at second, and Dalton Wentz at first. Payoff pitch with the bases loaded. Conti lines it into left field. That's going to score at least 2. Williams and Lewis touch home plate. Lead extends to 11-3 on the RBI single from Matt Conti on the 10th pitch of that at-bat.
Fastball inside half. Went right at him, challenged him. Didn't get in quite as much as you would like to against Conti. Good pass on it.
Conti gets his first base hit of the day and does so with the bases loaded to drive home 2. Wake Forest up by 8 now. Still just 1 out, 2 runners on. First pitch offering from Gomez, a breaking ball. Bit 2 inside. Jackson Miller, who has had a pretty successful day in his own right, an RBI triple in the 3rd inning, sandwiched in between a walk and a strikeout. And that's the breaking ball that Gomez wanted on that first pitch.
Yeah, and he threw that going back to Conti. He missed with it on 2-2 through that breaking ball to get the 3-2, and I thought we might see it again. I'm sure he wanted to stay away from it because of the base on balls opportunity.
Then it goes right back to the fastball. That'll be strike number 2. But again, 2 strike counts have been friendly to Wake Forest in this inning so far. Swing and a miss, chasing outside. Nice pitch right there from Gomez. The fastball touching 94 miles per hour and gets a big second out here with 2 runners on.
A little bit up and out of the zone right there.
So Jimmy Keenan, who has had a spectacular day so far with a walk, an RBI single, and a 2-run home run in the last inning, steps up to the plate. Takes a big hack at the first offering, fouls it right back against the foul net. Gomez reaching back a little bit now in this one for the fastball that's appeared a bit more often in the last couple of at-bats. That one pops out of the glove of Lavin. Both runners will advance, and it looked like a routine play, but just couldn't squeeze the baseball there, and now there's 2 in scoring position for the Demon Deacons.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll score. That looked like a curveball that just popped out of his hand. Very deceptive for Lavin to try to catch that. I'm sure everything about that fooled him. The way it spun, the way it came out of Gomez's hand.
It's not like it ricocheted off either. It kind of stayed right in front of him, so good headiness there by the Wake base runners to advance on that. What might go down as a wild pitch, maybe go down as an error on the catcher, but either way, the awareness. Nice for the Demon Deacons to put 2 on second and third. And it'll be officially ruled a passed ball there. Not a wild pitch, as that one was within the grasp of the catcher, Lavin.
Yeah, if you get your glove on the fly, unless you're diving for it, it should be, and typically it's going to be scored past ball.
2-2 now. Keenan chops it right in front of him, but it's going to be ruled a foul. Again, we already mentioned it, but the run on second right now, Conti, if he were to score, would give Wake that all-important double-digit lead. 2-2 again. Rung him up for strike number 3, a backwards K, and that's back-to-back strikeouts for Cohen Gomez to end the inning, but not before Wake Forest adds a couple more runs to extend the lead to 8. An onslaught in the past 3 innings, 10 of their 11 runs coming between the 3rd and 5th frames, as they take an 11-3 lead over Stanford in Game 2 of this weekend ACC opening series. Chris Labonis' day is done, which brings in a new arm for the Demon Deacons, Luke Schmolke, the senior righty out of Mooresville, North Carolina. This is his 5th appearance of the season, and he's had some success.
Yeah, got to attack the zone here. While it's a sizable lead, Wake's thinking about this could become a 7-inning game if we put a 0 on the board now, score a few more.
Schmolke with no earned runs so far this season, 3 2/3 scoreless innings pitched with 3 strikeouts, just 2 hits given up, and no walks. Tall task here for Jimmy Nadai as first pitch is in there for a strike.
Schmolke will drift a little bit to the first base side, kind of has a high arm slot. Good strike thrower.
That one just out of the zone, so it's 1-1 count now for Nadai, who homered to get the scoring started in the 2nd inning, but grounded out in the 3rd and hasn't been up to bat since then. The 5th inning for the Cardinal, 1-2-3, the only 3-up, 3-down inning of the game for either side. That's going to be ruled a near strike right in the zone, barely, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, that's down and away on the outside edge, knee-high, maybe an inch below.
You'll take it if you're Wake, and then you'll take that if you're Luke Schmolke. Comes into the game and strikes out Jimmy Nadai to put 1 out on the board and continue his strong start to the season.
He gets great downward playing, gets works top to bottom very well. And that was a really, really good right-on-right changeup right there for strike 3. Fastball, slider, change guy, strike thrower, throws hard enough.
Goes with the softer pitch there, but it sails inside, nearly clipping the shoulder of number 11, Luke Lavin.
That's his breaking ball, or whether he calls that a slider or a cutter, kind of a tight, small breaking ball. Match up well with that changeup he throws.
And then pushes this one arm side, so quickly 2-0 now for Lavin, who doubled last time up in the 4th inning. Wouldn't be brought home, though, as Stanford hasn't scored since its 2 spot in the top of the 3rd inning, rather. And that's a nice pitch right down Main Street that kind of freezes Lavin for a second and brings up a 2-1 pitch on the way. Then a swing and a miss on an off speed, evens the count at 2, and those are 2 nice pitches to get back in the count there for Schmolke.
Boy, breaking ball change, fastball, breaking ball. That in fastball was at 89, but it looked like it was about 93, given the off-speed offerings he's added to it.
And speaking of off-speed offerings, there's one that strikes out Lavin. Back-to-back swinging Ks for Luke Schmolke, as the bases are cleared, and he is cruising through this inning so far.
2 outs, nobody on. You don't try to start nibbling here. You go at him, attack, bottom part of the zone, middle part of the plate, regardless of what the pitch is. Make him put the ball in play. If he hits a double, not a big deal.
Tatum Marsh. 0 for today so far. Grounded into a fielder's choice and was walked as well. So quiet day. Went 0 of 2 yesterday with 2 strikeouts and a walk as well. Batting a clip under 200 on the season. Is the reigning all-ACC freshman teamer. And he takes that strike right at the knees for a 1-1 count.
Boy, Keenan does a really good job behind the plate catching those pitches down the zone and letting the umpires see them, maybe selling them a little bit.
Did it again right there for strike number 2. Keenan with an excellent day on both sides of the plate. As Schmolke winds up and delivers another strikeout. 3 Ks in the top of the 6th as Schmolke strikes out the side. Wake Forest still on top, 11-3. Has scored 8 unanswered to take an 11-3 advantage here at the couch. Jonah Weintraub and Dick Cook here in the broadcast booth. So happy you could join us for today's game. Leg 1 of a doubleheader between the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, number 15 in the country, and Stanford. And barring any craziness, it looks like Wake is in the driver's seat in this one. And again, this would be win 14 in a row for the Demon Deacons after losing their season opener against Houston in Puerto Rico. Blake Schaff up to bat, and Cohen Gomez back on the bump after a nice 2 strikeouts to end the last inning for the Cardinal. Gomez has shown some nice stuff here today so far, Dick.
Yeah, you know, he's got to, from Stanford's perspective now down 8, he's got to be their guy rest of the way, however long that is, with game 2 not too far away.
There is a little bit of activity in the bullpen for the Cardinal. I have to think that's just kind of a break glass in case of emergency type situation here with the margin at 8 runs.
Sure. You can't let it get too out of hand. At the same time, you got to keep your guys' arms ready to roll for game 2, unless your offense has an epic comeback here over the next few.
And I think that's, with all the Wake offense that we've seen the past couple of frames, it's worth mentioning that through 4 innings of both sides of this game, neither side had a 1-2-3 inning. Wake has retired the last 6 batters for the Cardinal, and that really allowed the offense to be on the field so often and really get a rhythm without having to be in the dugout for too long. That one's going to be a strikeout.
Yeah, he called. He said he went on the swing. Check swing.
So that's 3 consecutive strikeouts for Cohen Gomez, dating back to the last inning. Wake has struck out a decent amount so far today. As a whole, the Stanford pitching staff has fanned 10 Demon Deacons. But I think you'll live with that if you're putting up 11 runs with 13 hits.
Yeah, good trade-off.
There's a fastball inside for strike number 1.
You know, those 11 runs get helped a little bit by all the base on balls that Stanford has had today.
6 walks for the Cardinal as a whole, which, given Wake's numbers on the season, they've drawn 102 entering today, the 3rd most in all of Division I. You expect it, but still, there's multiple runoffs from that, all that plate discipline. It's not just the base on balls. Even if it ends up in a strikeout, you're extending at bats, you're extending pitch counts. It just has this trickle-down effect really throughout the entire ball game that makes it so much more difficult for pitchers going against this Demon Deacon side.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot for them to get a crooked number on the board.
Stein watches that one skip across home plate as the count now 2-2 for Gomez. A couple of those in this at-bat he's lost a bit of control of. It looks like the fastball has really worked for him the most today. And as I say it, it's the off speed that drops into the zone for strike number 3. Make it 4 consecutive Ks for Cohen Gomez.
When he gets that curveball going, it's certainly a good one. Classic 12-6. You cannot draw it up any better than that. Because of the size of the break, though, it's going to be a harder pitch to throw consistently in the strike zone. Those are perfect pitches there, a couple of them over the last couple of at-bats.
but a trickier proposition to do so against this guy, Javar Williams, who not only has only struck out 8 times all season now in this game number 14 rather, but through 14 games with just 8 strikeouts, and today he has 3 singles. He's 6 of 8 in the series so far. As he lines this one down the first base line, and it's going to be ruled foul. Looks like that was the right call. It was tight roping at first base line, but Williams will have to settle for the 1-1 count.
For hitters who have heard from hitting coaches, it's how important it is to keep your hands inside the ball. Williams, boy, what a great example he is of that. Even fastballs on the inside part of the plate, he'll be able to stay inside of it and do some damage.
So Wake working with this 8-run margin. 2 outs though, here in the bottom of the 6th inning. If they put up 2 more runs, then they could clinch the game in the top of the 7th. But got to take some work as Gomez is cruising right now in the bottom of the frame. His back-to-back strikeouts, and 4 straight if you go back to the bottom of the 5th.
Threw a couple of change-ups to Wentz in the first at bat, couple change-ups here.
This one popped foul right towards us.
Clearly the MO on Gomez is fastball, curveball to the righties, and fastball change-up predominantly to the lefties, with the occasional curveball to the lefty.
The strikeout numbers have been good for Gomez this season. Entered with 10 Ks and just over 7 innings of work. As this one hit right to the first baseman, handled by Tokheim, and that will do it. First 1-2-3 inning of the day for the Stanford defense as we head to the 7th, still 11-3, Wake on top. For the Cardinal, 6 straight retired for the Wake Forest pitching staff. Chris Lavonas had 3 straight to end the 5th inning, and Luke Schmolke came in with 3 consecutive strikeouts in his first frame of work, and he's back on the bump now, the Georgia Tech transfer, looking to keep cruising here as Brock Kettleston steps up to the plate.
Good efficient first inning of work by Schmolke.
Ooh, what a nasty pitch that was. Kettleston was second-guessing that one from the second he swung.
Off-speed offering, got him way out in front.
Schmolke comes back with the fastball, and it's lined right up the center. Maybe that one seemed a little predictable after the big breaking ball.
Yeah, tried to elevate the fastball. Didn't get it quite up enough. Keenan gave him the good visual of let's get that at the hands or above, and it didn't quite get there. Good pass by Kettleston for the base hit.
And even there, the play nearly made J.D. Stein. Was in good position, but just a little bit too hot off the bat for Kettleston, his second hit of the season. Bunt attempt laid down or pulled back at the last second. Will go down as a strike. This is Court McDonald, 0 for 2 today. Strikeout and a pop out in the 2nd inning.
Stanford needs base runners any way they can do it. One for the hit concept, not a bad idea right there.
So with Kettleston over on first, that one levels the count at 1 apiece. Again, low leverage situation to say the least for Schmolke, but of course if this game is to be extended any further, Stanford needs to get something cooking here. Not a lot of baseball left to gain momentum.
A lot of off-speed offerings from Schmolke. Fastball, change-up, breaking ball.
Throw back to first. Maybe just to keep Kettleston honest.
Yeah, and sometimes that's to get yourself, helps the pitcher reset himself. Let's do something different than throw a pitch and regroup.
There's a nice pitch right down the middle. Count now 2-2. McDonald, the senior outfielder from Arlington, Texas. Makes minimal contact with this one, but chops it foul. We'll redo the 2-2 coming up.
Decent crowd today, huh? For the afternoon contest.
Decent might be an understatement. It's a pretty nice crowd here today, as that one is swung on and jumped foul again. Again, Wake Forest basketball plays today as well, so a busy day on campus or around campus here. It's a beautiful day at that, so I don't blame people for wanting to get outside.
Good time to be in Winston for some athletics.
Get the official attendance numbers down the line, but again, very nice showing from the Demon Deacon faithful here at the couch. Don't know that everyone's going to stay for a second leg of a doubleheader. Of course we are. Of course these two teams are, which is all that matters, as McDonald slams the turf. Looks like he may have hit that foul ball off of his own body.
Yeah, that went right off his foot.
No amount of protective gear can make that one.
I was a left-handed hitter, and I did not have enough bat speed to ever foul one off my foot.
Conflicting problem to have. So they'll give McDonald a little bit of time here to
Just said, wow.
Good to see that he's upright and ready to get back in the batter's box. So it's a full count, and he'll have to wait for that payoff pitch, as it's a throw down to Kettleson at first again. Kettleson, the two-way player. Highly touted freshman. Came into the season as the number 88 prospect in the entire country per perfect game. He's standing on first. McDonald at the plate. And that one clobbered, but it's pulled foul, and good contact made, but just couldn't keep the hands inside.
McDonald has seen one fastball in these in this at bat. 9 pitches, 1 fastball, 1 sore foot.
And that one issued down low, so it's the first walk of the season thrown by Schmolke. Came in with no free passes given away, but that one right there puts 2 on with no out. And after really cruising through the 6th inning, Schmolke dealing with a little bit of traffic here as the top of the order comes back up in Rintaro Sasaki. Sasaki, a pair of strikeouts with a double sandwiched in between them. Hits this one right up the middle, flares on the Wake Forest logo, and it's going to hold the runners at second and third. So one pitch, a single, the second hit of the afternoon for Sasaki, loads the bases with no down. I don't think that one got in on the hands of Sasaki a bit, but I mean, he's a absolute power hitter. Had
Yeah, his strength
8 home runs last year.
made that a base hit.
Yeah,
He didn't hit that one great. Hit it well enough. And his hand path is inside the baseball, like all good hitters. And now Wake's got to be, they've got to have the wheels moving a little bit as far as thoughts here, bullpen wise. It's, 11-3, but it's still the 7th. It's not the 9th. So there's a ways to go.
And also, this can very well secure Stanford a 9-inning ball game. Of course, the margin is 8 runs right now. Stanford can give itself a little bit of breathing room, give itself more innings to work with. And that's Nate Weissong in the bullpen for Wake Forest, the righty. Getting loose here with the bases loaded and no outs, as looks like he's about to come into the game as Tom Walter makes his way out to the pitching mound. So that will do it for Schmolke. Really Jekyll and Hyde 2 frames for Schmolke. Struck out the side in the 6th, but gives up 3 consecutive base runners here to start off the 7th. Bases loaded for the Cardinal when we come back and a new pitcher in the game. Deacons making his 5th appearance of the season, the sophomore righty out of Pennsylvania. 4 2 innings under his belt so far this campaign. Just 1 earned run, 3 hits, and 9 strikeouts with 8 walks. So a lot of stuff happening at the plate in terms of those decisions. Not a lot of hits, but the walks, as you'd expect, a bit of an issue for an underclassman.
You know, if you're Stanford, you're obviously aware of that, so you're going to be very patient there. Got to make him establish the zone. He's coming into a tough situation, bases loaded, nobody out. 8-run lead isn't quite as comfortable as it was a few minutes ago.
Well, that's because Stanford can cut it in half here if they were able to go the distance with a grand slam. Already seen a pair of home runs from the Cardinal today. The extra base hits have come in droves throughout the first game and a half of this series this weekend. And it's the part of the order coming up here, so Weissong has potential trouble on his hands. Teddy Tokheim up to bat first with no down bases loaded. And that's a first pitch strike. Nice way to start off the outing. Pair of strikeouts and a ground out for Tokheim today. This one is lined up the middle. Throw to first is there, and that's a twin-killing double play. 1 run will score for Stanford on the fielder's choice, but if you're awake, you'll take it.
That is exactly what you would draw up. If you're Tom Walter and you could request something, that's what it is. 2 pitches, 6 unassisted, double play.
And that looked very routine for J.D. Stein over at short. It was a slow roller that he was able to get and make the throw in time. And just like that, there's only 1 runner on, though it is on third. As Stanford has drawn within 1, 11-4 the score. That's a nice pitch to level the count at 1 for Weissong.
Weissong, kind of a low arm slot righty. Fastball's going to run good to his arm side. He's going to be in the mid-90s with it.
And he gets another one in there for strike number 2. And
Good
just like that, a chance to get out of this inning with only 1 run given up.
Good tight breaking ball, similar to the one he threw to Tokheim in the 0-1. Good depth to it.
0-2. Stays arm side.
So a change there off the plate. Similar movement as his fastball, moving towards the third base side of the plate, away from the lefty.
The 1-2. Just off the plate. That was a close call, but a nice take from Charlie Bates, who had that 2-run home run in the 3rd inning, a single in the 1st inning, so he's been the most productive batter today for the Cardinal. Did he go around? No. Kevin Sweeney at 3rd says that Charlie Bates is in the clear, and he'll make his way to first base on the walk from Weissong.
Next up, third base, number 1, J.J. Moran.
3-2 breaking ball.
Correction of the batters, number 4.
That's close. Good call. He held up.
So Bates gets on base for the 3rd time today.
I was a little surprised we didn't see fastball there. His fastball's been running so hard.
And now that brings in a pinch hitter for the Cardinal. Looks like that's number 44 for Stanford. Quentin Marsh, the brother of Tatum Marsh. Watches that one go right below the zone. Wake fans here disgruntled with that one. These are close calls coming at home plate. Is Marsh into the game? Freshman, younger brother of Tatum Marsh of San Jose, California. And the throw over to first is there in time. For Stanford, that's new 3rd baseman Eric Gion into the game at the hot corner after J.J. Moran was subbed out at the batter's box for Quentin Marsh, so a little bit of musical chairs there for the Cardinal, but it's Gion in at 3rd base. And a new pitcher in the game as well for Stanford, Liam Golden, the sophomore righty out of Sacramento. Golden, 6'5", good extension. The righty has made 3 appearances so far this season, giving up 8 runs in that time with 6 hits, 4 strikeouts, 6 walks, and had a very difficult outing last weekend against Fresno State on the 28th. 5 hits and 6 earned runs in just 1 1/3 of an inning pitched. He comes in for Cohen Gomez, who had some nice stuff. 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs, and 4 strikeouts for Gomez. By far the most successful pitcher of the day for the Cardinal.
Yeah, he did a good job. He settled in after his first at bat. Golden, a big-bodied right-hander.
And comes out the gate with a wild pitch that didn't look malicious. Looked like it may have just slipped out of the hand.
Yeah, it was, just got away from him.
So Cade Lewis leading off this inning. 3 of 4 today with 3 base hits. And that pitch, much better, but still off the plate at 93, quickly 2-0 on Lewis.
Boy, you watch Golden, I mean, his foot is barely on the first base corner of the rubber when he starts his delivery.
Fires that one in there for a strike, same speed, 93, and now the count a little bit more competitive for Golden in his first at-bat of the afternoon. Made 6 appearances out of the bullpen as a freshman with the Cardinal, and in that time, 8 earned runs over 9 innings, 9 strikeouts and 8 walks. This already appearance number 4 for Golden in his sophomore campaign. And that's a 5-pitch walk for Cade Lewis. He gets aboard for the 4th time this afternoon and gives Wake a leadoff runner here in the 7th.
That's as far as I've seen a right-handed pitcher start on the first base side of the rubber in a long time. That's way over on that edge.
And as the first pitch goes high, what does that do for a batter, especially if you're a right-handed batter, or sorry, rather a left-handed batter?
Well, it's probably done because, you know, if his misses are typically to his arm side, it's going to lower his margin of error. Good change-up right there. You know, you see it a lot more. Back in the old days, it used to be right-handers start on the right side, lefties on the left side. It was kind of standard for every. Now we've got a lot more right-handed pitchers starting on the first base side and lefties on the third base side. Right or wrong, it's just a little more of a trend. But oftentimes it's done, if I'm going to move a pitcher on the rubber, it's going to be to help him get in the zone.
So far, the zone has been a bit elusive for Golden. Already has the walk, and now this one is a 3-1 count, and not the situation you want to be on with Wentz.
Wentz looking 1 pitch, 1 spot right here, sitting dead red, fastball if he gets it.
And that's off the plate again. Back-to-back walks issued by Liam Golden to start off the bottom of the 7th inning, which brings up Luke Costello for the 5th time today.
You know, there's an argument. We don't want to get into pitching mechanics here because we can go for hours and hours. You know, you take that guy who's on the extreme first base side of the rubber, move him to the traditional third base side of the rubber as a righty, and that might help his body adjust moving down the slope. Hard to say. You know, he may have been moved there because of control issues.
And Tom Walter going out to talk with Costello. Could a change be made here? So that looks like Jordan Serrano is going to come into the game in a very last-minute pinch hitting situation. Costello was even all the way in the batter's box. Looked like he was ready to go, but instead Serrano comes into the game. So with 2 on, no out, a nice opportunity for Serrano, the freshman out of Summerdale, New Jersey. sixth recruit in the Garden State this past high school cycle. Joins Wake and has gotten some nice action early in the season.
My home state.
Immediately comes in and takes a big swing. Where are you from? Where in Jersey are you from, Dick?
Wall Township,
Okay,
over
not
near
from
Asbury Park, over the Jersey Shore. So Lavonis, who started today, is from Holmdel. That's a similar area.
Wake with a nice pipeline out there. A couple of underclassmen from Jersey, of course, including Lavonis.
Well, you know, there's great baseball in New Jersey, great baseball players coming out of the state.
Not biased at all.
We actually had great baseball at the Jersey Shore. You know, Golden's 93-94 with his fastball, 87-mile-an-hour slider, change 81-82. A really good profile.
That one's in there to even the count at 2-2. 14 pitches so far this inning for Golden. No outs to show for it yet. Just the 20th plate appearance of the season for Serrano, though he has played in 11 games now. And that one's going to be ruled strike 3. A backwards K for Golden to get one out on the board, but still plenty of trouble still to evade.
Looked like it could have been a tick off. Nice job. A little pull in right there. Hard to see. We're not directly behind. Lavin with a pretty good frame. Stuck it, pulled it a little bit, which is what everyone does now.
Nice job by Lavin to frame that one up and really almost will that strikeout into existence.
That is known to happen.
But you'll take it if you're Stanford. They got back a run in the top of the 7th, but going to need a lot more than that to make this one competitive once again. And that starts with getting out of this inning with 2 runners on, 1 down, and Matt Conti at the plate after he brought in 2 with an RBI single in the 5th as a part of that 6-run inning. Conti drills this one right up the middle. Lewis rounding for home, and he's going to get there. It's an RBI single. 3 driven in on the day for Conti, and Wake gets that run right back.
Fastball almost sounded like he got a little jammed on it, but hit it hard enough.
So a 3 RBI day for Matt Conti after coming into the day with just 7 on the season. Another pinch hitter into the game for Wake Forest. Jackson Miller's day is done, and that will be Tyler Figueroa, the junior out of Colony, New York. So another Northeastern product. Number 12 has made stops at Siena and App State as he takes that one high and inside. So far this season, Figueroa with 3 walks drawn and batting .250 with a .571 on-base percentage. Inherits the same situation as before. 2 runners on, just 1 out, but a half-hearted swing through that one to level the count at 1.
Good late, tight action on that breaking ball. That breaking ball had more depth to it than others he's thrown this inning.
That one kind of just stays high, doesn't really move at all. So count now 2-1. Figueroa in the driver's seat. He has to dodge that one. 3-1 the count now, and this juncture in the game, again, the winning run is on first base. Maybe you let Figueroa try to swing wild here.
Well, 3-1, he's looking for a fastball in his spot.
This just at that number 5 on the season for Figueroa. That one rung up for a strike. 92 right on the edge of the zone. We've got a full count. Figueroa with 1 hit so far this season. And swings through that, offering a high fastball, puts away Figueroa. And that's 2 down for Golden, with Jimmy Keenan stepping into the batter's box. So Wentz and Conti aboard for the Demon Deacons. Keenan has already had a whale of a day with 2 hits and 3 runs driven in, including that big home run that brought in 2 runs in the 4th inning.
He's done a nice job behind the plate today too. Really good target for his pitching staff.
Wanted to end the game there with a big swing on 92 miles per hour, but whiffs on it, and the count now 1-1.
Yeah, I think that was a pitch he was excited to see.
Can't really fault him for it too. Fastball right down the middle. Contact made this time, but it's clipped foul.
Another good breaking ball by Golden.
And after issuing back-to-back walks, and of course the RBI single was thrown in there, but overall it looks like Golden has settled in a little bit after those 2 walks, even though he did give up the run.
Yeah, and you get like his projectability, big frame, life in his arms, got stuff.
And he's got stuff on that one. A big swing and a miss from Keenan ends the inning. 3 strikeouts in the frame for Golden, but Wake adds on a run to make it a 12-4 ball game. In the 7th inning, as we head to the 8th, Wake all over Stanford. 12-4 the score. Jonah Weintraub alongside Dick Cook in what has been a very entertaining game featuring a lot of big-time hits, but of course, the big difference in this game was, you see it there at the bottom of the 4th inning, a 6 spot from Wake, and that's really been the deciding factor so far in this one.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow-moving ball game. Certainly, offense, that's the story of the game for Wake Forest. Important for Wysong here to try to be efficient, try to get through the rest of this game for Wake before we tee it up for game number 2 today.
Game number 2. Slated for 5:30, but 45 minutes after this game ends, if it goes past 5:30, so obviously the odds of it being 5:30, pretty low, as that one is fouled back by Jimmy Nadai. Nadai hit that home run in the 2nd inning to give Stanford the first run of the game, but since then has grounded out and struck out. Here, obviously a home run would be nice, but you're probably thinking more about trying to spark a rally with just getting multiple base knocks and getting guys on the base path.
Boy, Wysong, nice job of that first at bat of his in the last inning with that ground ball double play to minimize the damage.
Wysong fires that one inside.
Yeah, I think that one would fold Keenan a little bit, kind of slider that backed up.
Another one that stays arm side, and now it's a very favorable count here for Nadai, the leadoff. Fouled right back towards us. Full count. And worth mentioning, a pinch hitter coming up for the Cardinal. Looks like it's going to be number 47, Nolan Stoll. He's in the on-deck circle for Stanford. Of course, first we have to settle this at bat. Payoff pitch. In there for a backwards K. What a nice choice there on the off speed that catches Nadai looking and gets the first out on the board. And speaking of changes made, Wake with some adjustments on the defensive side as well, particularly in the outfield. You can see Figueroa into the game for Jackson Miller at left and Jordan Serrano into the game for Costello in right. Other than that, everything else is the exact same. As there's a swing and a miss on the first pitch to Stoll, who's into the game. This is his 4th appearance of the season with a double and 2 runs driven in, so he's been productive in limited action so far for the Cardinal. But he swings through that one, and it's quickly 0-2 on the pinch hitter.
Wysong's hitting between 93 and 95 today.
That one at 93, but not in the zone there, and that was a ball out of hand.
That sets up a slider away very well if he chooses, which he's been throwing around 85 miles an hour.
Stoll draws contact, but can't keep it fair, so it's a 1-2 redo. Stoll, a freshman out of Stevenson Ranch, California, of course, as you would expect. Vast majority of the players on the Cardinal hail from California. As he takes up and high, up and away rather. And after falling behind in the at-bat, Stoll has worked his way all the way back to a full count. Second time in a row this inning that Wysong has had to deal with that. Payoff pitch, up high, walk issued, and that's the first base runner for Wysong so far.
Wysong just falling off a little bit to the first base side in his last couple. Front shoulder opening up just a tick early, maybe.
So with 1 runner on, Stanford trying to chip into this deficit. That brings up number 7, Philip Chong. Who swings and barely grazes that first offering. Chong has played 5 games so far this season. 0 of 3 has been hit by a pitch, so he's been on the base path. A freshman out of Ontario, California.
Great cross pitch there with the fastball. Good slider at 86 to start it. Fastball really low middle part of the plate. Throws Chong to get to the 0-2 count.
Did I say Ontario, California? I got so tangled up with all the California players. It's Ontario, Canada, as he takes up high. Just thinking back to that, I'm like, there's no way that there's an Ontario, California.
There could be.
There could be. It's a big state. Plenty of baseball players in it. As you can see, just looking up and down the Stanford roster. And another nice take by Chong.
Boy, really tight slider, great pitch, and a nice job by Chong of holding off on that. It looks very inviting. That was a thigh high in the outside corner.
Another ball from Wysong.
Boy, you can see how hard Wysong's falling off to that first base side. You know, he'll get to that side eventually in his delivery, but you want to make sure your momentum's going down towards home plate for as long as possible, and then you'll get over there later on.
Payoff pitch. Just off the plate, and now that's back-to-back walks issued by Wysong. Just like that, with 1 down, Stanford has a pair of base runners, setting up the table for Brock Kettleson.
Well, and if you're Wake, you do not want to be going to your pen again in this game right now. It's back-to-back hitters. Wysong's been 0-2 and wound up walking the hitter.
This one, ball out of hand. Nice job by Keenan behind the dish to keep that in front of him.
Very athletic on that block behind. That was just not worried about block mechanics. You're just diving to get it somehow.
By any means necessary. So it's another unfavorable count here, 3-0 on risk of loading the bases for Cardinal. Kettleson has already been walked once today. Can make it twice. As now with one down, the bases are loaded on 3 consecutive free passes, which is the exact opposite of what you want to happen in this type of frame if you're Wake Forest. At least put the ball in play and make something happen. So Tom Walter will come out, and after that sequence, it looks like the dreaded trip to the bullpen once again coming for the Demon Deacons. So we'll tell you all about the new arm for Wake Forest after we come back. Bases loaded for the Cardinal, down 12-4 here on the ACC Network. The Demon Deacons standing at 6'8", a big presence on the bump, coming in for Nate Weisong after he just really didn't have the command today. 3 consecutive walks here in the top of the 8th rather, and then 4 walks in total for Weisong in 1 1/3 innings of work. Did have 1 strikeout, but again, you can't issue those free passes because that's exactly what has the Wake Forest side in this situation.
Yeah, and he had the first 2 hitters 0-2 and lost them both, and then 4 consecutive balls to Kettleson. So that meant it's time for a new arm, and Mr. Bosch, a big-bodied left-hander in there to try to stop things for Wake.
Another pinch hitter in the game for Stanford. Coming in for Court McDonald, that's number 33 for the Cardinal, which is going to be a new pinch hitter for, I believe, the 4th time this inning, something like that. That's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, took it a swing and a 1-0 change. It was down out of the zone. Henry McDonald just swinging over the top of that.
So Henry McDonald comes in for Court McDonald.
Spelled differently.
No relation. And he swings through the 1-1 offering. Big hack there, the sophomore out of Pasadena, California. Started his career at Cal Poly before coming over to Stanford.
Bosch comes at you with a low 3/4 arm slot. That ball's going to run away from right-handers. His fastball to the first base edge of the plate.
That one, a ball out of hand, levels the count at 2. For Bosch, there is 1 out on the board, so a double play ball could come into effect here for the Demon Deacons defense. Off the plate, and another full count.
The Wake staff's done a lot of 3-2 off-speed pitches the past couple days, last night and today, thus far.
Net 1. An RBI walk for McDonald as Stanford plates 1 more. They'll do the rotation, and we'll have a 12-5 ball game with the same scenario. Bases loaded, just 1 out. So Rintaro Sasaki comes back up for the 5th time today. A single, a double, and 2 strikeouts for the leadoff man, as that one sits in the zone for strike number 1. But again, getting early strikes has not been the issue this inning for the Demon Deacon staff. It's been finishing off these at-bats.
Finishing the at-bat for sure. 2 0-2 walks. Last batter was 1-2.
Sasaki drills this one into center field. Williams giving chase. The play is made, but that will advance the runners home and to third base. So 2 outs, runners on the corners, and that will bring home one to make it a 12-6 ball game.
Breaking ball, Sasaki did not try to do too much with that. Granted, they're down a bunch, so an extra base hit would have been a better result, but still a pretty good pass at not a bad breaking ball by Bosch.
Philip Chong scores there. Now there's runners on the corner. And the first pitch ball issued to Teddy Tokai. Strike zone just very elusive for both of these sides so far today.
Sometimes that just kind of starts
Snowballing almost.
Festering on itself a little bit. Both sides walking some hitters today, and it just kind of keeps happening.
There's a strike on a 85-mile-per-hour breaking ball.
Yeah, really good tight breaking ball by Bosch there.
No go on that swing from Tokheim. Was thinking about going around, but held off, and now it's a 3-1 count. Again, bases no longer loaded, so there is somewhere to put Tokheim, but of course he'd rather just wrap this up now.
Bosch just needs to keep that front side closed longer as he goes down the slope.
That delivery much closer to the zone, but it's ruled another walk. They're piling up now for the Demon Deacons, especially here in this frame alone.
I believe that's number 9 on the day.
5 here in the frame for the Demon Deacons pitching staff. 3 straight from Wysong, now a pair from Bosch. Another pinch hitter into the game for Stanford. Rashad Hayes getting some action here today. Hayes, this is just his 3rd game played on the season. 1 of 5 with a double in his catalog as he takes strike 2 looking there. Hayes in at shortstop for Charlie Bates. We've seen a ton of defensive and offensive substitutions in this one, emptying the benches on both sides. As that one gets past Keenan and the runners will all advance. One more run comes home, and that makes it a 12-7 ball game. Still a lot of work for Stanford to do, but they're drawing within distance.
Looks like Bosch tried to throw that one about 107. Just got outside of himself a little bit.
So 2 in scoring position for Hayes with a 1-2 count now after the wild pitch. And Hayes tips that one foul down the left field line. It dribbles out of play, and we'll do the 1-2 over again. Hayes on the season, just 1 of 5 at the plate, but he strikes out looking there. And finally, the inning comes to the end after 5 walks and a couple of runs from the Cardinal. Stanford draws within 5 as we head to the bottom of the inning. Here from the couch, Stanford tacks on 3 in the top half of the inning to pull within 5. But Wake still in the driver's seat here, trying to add some insurance before the top of the 9th. Demon Deacons eyeing win number 14 in a row. For the Cardinal, it's Liam Golden still on the bump after he threw a nice frame last time out.
Yeah, 2 walks to start the inning, but then settled in, strike out, gave up a base hit, then struck out the last 2 hitters, threw the ball well at the back end of the inning.
Starts off with the ball off the plate to Blake Schaff. Blake has a double so far today with 2 strikeouts and a flyout as well. Quickly 2-0 on the Georgetown transfer. Another one off the plate, and again, free passes have been given out like they're free throughout the entire day. Just both sides issuing so many walks in this ball game. After giving up 5 in the last inning, Wake's pitching staff on the day has now walked 9 batters. As for the Cardinal, not much better in terms of giving out those walks. Stanford, its pitching staff, has had 8. As this one drilled over towards the second baseman, Nadai makes the throw, and that's out number 1. Feels like we haven't seen a play that routine in a hot minute.
In a while.
Nadai still in the game, but a little bit of defensive adjustments made by the Cardinal once again. The outfield almost entirely different as Brock Kettleson moves from center to right. Brock Sell comes into the game in center. Philip Chong makes his way to left field. And just like the last inning, Hayes at short and Gian at third. Contact made with this one. Stein trying to run it out. But a nice dig made at first base. Nice play made by Tokheim as that's out number 2 on back-to-back groundouts.
Good adjustment here by Golden. Missed 3 arms fastballs well to his arm side. The first hitter of the inning, Schaff. And he's been back in the zone for the last 3 fastballs. Stoll behind the plate has done a pretty good job of adjusting how he's setting up to help help Golden get a little better visual.
So the bottom of the order grounds out with the 8-9 hitters, Schaff and Stein. Setting up Javar Williams, who is 3 of 4 on the day with 3 singles and a walk. Been a busy day for Williams. This is his 6th at-bat of the afternoon. Watches that off-speed sail past him for ball number 2.
Yeah, he's had a nice day at the plate. Really shows why Coach Walter's always going to be writing that name at the top of the lineup.
He's 6 of 9 in this series so far. I think he'll take that from a leadoff guy any day of the week.
Yeah, especially when you have Lewis and Wentz following.
Not a hard job. All you got to do is get on base and set the table for those big guys to rake. As the 3-0 offering gets in the zone. Nice pitch there to stay in the count.
It's incumbent on catchers to be able to understand how they need to set up behind the plate to help a pitcher adjust. Certainly, it's up to a pitcher to make the mechanical adjustments needed if he's missing the zone, but catchers can help give him a visual cue, which will oftentimes make some mechanical corrections without him knowing it.
Williams watches strike number 2 go in there, so it's a full count. Wake went down 1-2-3 in the 6th inning, but that's the only time they've done so today. Golden trying to change that. Williams delays the result with a foul ball right back towards us on the foul net. Payoff pitch goes high, and it's another walk for the Demon Deacons. Another walk in this ball game par for the course, and the second free pass of the day for Javar Williams as he gets on base for the 5th time in 6 at-bats.
You know, this kind of a game this late, everyone's a little tired. It's oftentimes easy to get away from your discipline at the plate, and Williams showed the discipline he always does to that AB.
Lewis with some discipline of his own, holding off on that low offering. Ball number 1.
Little change up. Not a bad miss right there.
that one up and in on Lewis. Demon Deacons led this one by as much as 8 after scoring 6 runs in the 4th inning. Stanford has scored 4 over the past 2 to draw within this 5-run margin. As it's quickly 3-0, Lewis has yet to see a pitch that is really anything but a ball out of hand.
A little movement in the Stanford bullpen, not in earnest yet.
And that's a 4-pitch walk. 2 on, 2 down. And you have to think that everyone in that Stanford dugout just really wants to get Golden over the finish line here and at least set up a chance with the 5-run margin at the top of the ninth.
For sure.
Another change here would also take out an arm for game 2 of the doubleheader, which is something you just don't want to do when you're already down in this situation.
You know, anyone you're going to spend now in this game is not somebody you're going to use in a critical situation in game 2, but you just want to have every available guy. And we got a clock. Violation.
Looks like it.
Yeah, he pointed.
It looks like it was on Wentz, so it's 0-1. As it's quickly 0-2, Wentz swings through that offering, and Golden, with the free strike on that violation, has a chance here to close the book on the 8th inning. Wentz holds up. And of course, with Williams on second base, any contact made is almost guaranteed to bring a run home if it gets into the outfield. And Wentz, fans on that offering, strikeout. And turns out that we adjusted it. So the pitch timer violation was on Golden on Stanford. So we'll reset here with 2-2. Runners go. Wentz extends that one up on the infield. And the play made by Gian at third. So that will do it for the 8th inning. Stanford with 3 outs to try to get back in this ball game. Coming up after this from the couch. To put the finishing touches on what would be its 14th consecutive win and 2nd straight win to begin the series here against Stanford. Jonah Weintraub, Dick Cook here in the broadcast booth as a new pitcher is on the mound for the Demon Deacons. Marcelo Harsh, the freshman out of New Jersey, one of the few New Jersey players that we've seen today for the Demon Deacons, making his 2nd career appearance. And you can see based on that the first appearance not too hot for Harsh. It was here last weekend against Loyola Marymount. The ERA 81 thanks to that 3 earned runs in just 1/3 of an inning pitched on 4 hits. Trying to bounce back here today, and it's worth noting that that performance, not indicative of his stuff, was the number 2 overall player in the class of 25 in New Jersey, and that's in large part due to the fact that he gets a lot of velocity on his fastball.
Big frame, good delivery, quick arm. Coach Walter and his staff excited to see what this gentleman can bring to the table for them.
Starts off with a pitch that is lined right back towards him. His hat falls off, and Gian with a missile to get on to first base. It's a leadoff single for Gian, his first at-bat of the afternoon. So 1 runner on 1 pitch. Jimmy Natai up to bat. Takes strike 1 right down the middle. That one at 97. That's what you got to expect with Harsh, the really high 90s fastball.
Yeah, he gets a good high release, high arm slide over the top. works downhill very well. That ball's got good life on it the last 6 feet as it gets to the plate.
That one sails away from Harsh as count now 1-1. Still the pitch count just 3 because that first hit came on the first pitch. Nat-eye eyes that strike, so it's now a 1-2 count. Harsh.
I think we talked earlier, Keenan, really good job with those pitches down the zone, making them look like strikes. That was right at the knees, maybe a tick below, but Keenan really sold that well with his receiving.
Chance for the first career strikeout. And he gets it. Catches Nat-eye looking, and that's 1 out on the board, the first K in the career of Marcelo Harsh.
That breaking ball got away from him a little bit, stayed on the arm side, but got enough of the plate. Maybe.
Hey, we'll give it to him. We'll give it to him. It's his first. You'll take it if you're Harsh.
Yeah, fastball at 97, breaking ball at 83.
That'll have you a bit dizzy in the batter's box as that one back to the 97, right down Main Street for strike number 1.
When that ball had pretty good action on it, pretty good movement to his arm side. It looked like a little late sink to it.
Stoll lines this one and it gets past Lewis at first. Trickles into foul territory. Gian making his way towards third. Stoll will get into second. And that's 2 in scoring position, but that one more on the first baseman Lewis than it is on Marcelo Harsh.
Next up, number 7, Philip John.
So Philip Cheong back up to bat. Was one of those many walks in the last inning for the Cardinal, who are in a 5-run hole here, but with 1 out. Can pull within striking distance if this one reaches the outfield. That's a big swing and a miss on a 96-mile-per-hour fastball.
Well, you gotta like what you're seeing out of the arm of Harsh. Some serious projectability.
That one kind of frees his arm side, so it's an even 1-1 count now.
He's trying to manipulate that ball a little bit with his hand. He needs to just let his arm travel, get his hand in breaking ball position, and then throw it like it's a fastball relative to arm speed and let gravity and spin go to work.
Same situation there.
It looked like a change, maybe. Moved a little bit to his arm side.
Well, it's been an eventful 10 pitches for Harsh, to say the least, so far today. The strikeout, the first pitch single, the double that got into the outfield. This one is clipped foul. If you're Tom Walter and the Wake staff, you'll take anything that's not a walk at this point.
Yeah, and if he can, get on top of it, getting out in front with his slider here, this would be a great time to get it to that first base side of the plate and get a swing and a miss and a chase.
See what he goes with here. And it is a swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts for Marcelo Harsh in his second career appearance. And that puts Wake Forest 1 out away for win number 14 in a row.
And that's simply Harsh letting his arm, giving his arm time to get in position so he can get in front with his release on that breaking pitch. Good late downward action, not a lot of horizontal movement to it.
Harsh showing off the stuff here as he goes back with the fastball. 97 right in the middle, and you can hear the pop of the glove. Profound from up here in the booth.
There's nothing better when you have a good catcher back there who can catch the ball right. It just makes you sound like you're throwing it a lot harder.
I was ready to look up at the board and see 100 there, as that is a off-speed pitch that nicely cradled in the lap of Keenan. He's had a nice day behind the dish, as you mentioned, in a accompanying his great offense. There's Brock Kettleson, the last hope for the Cardinal in this one. Takes another pitch low. Kettleson, one of the few Cardinal players that's still in the lineup from opening pitch. A lot of changes made throughout the game, but Kettleson, 1 of 3 on the afternoon, rather 1 of 2. Pair of walks, a single, and his strikeout in his first at-bat. Another heat-seeking missile of a strike right down the middle, and Wake Forest now 1 strike away.
So what are you throwing here? Throwing that again, or you
that's your job. That's your job to answer. What are you going with?
I'm going with number 1. I'm throwing my best right here.
And the best so far has been the heat.
2-2, best pitch that day.
Harsh. Can't get the chase. That one, 88 miles per hour. That, not exactly what we've seen so far. We've seen the low 80s and we've seen the high 90s, but that one had to settle somewhere in the middle on the off speed. Full count now for Harsh. And that one just off the plate. And I'm inclined to agree with all the groaning fans in the stands here, not only because this is one of nearly 20 walks combined on the day for these two teams, but also that one, oh so close to being a strike. So the bases loaded once again in this ball game, and this one ripped into right field. That's going to bring home at least 1. Second run coming around. Gian scores first, sliding into home. That's 2 runs coming across. There was a close tag out play that had everyone on the edge of their seat there. Kettleson, rather Sell, brings home 2. And there you see, that's why everyone was kind of distracted from what was happening at home plate.
Boy, everyone got surprised there.
So it's a 2-run single for Kettleson with the bases loaded, and Harsh getting a beating from Jimmy Keenan.
Really good swing on that ball by Sell. .9 tying run at the plate.
So that sets the stage for the leadoff man, Rintaro Sasaki. We've talked about him a bunch, and it looks like that's going to bring out a pitch and change. So that will be the 6th Wake Forest arm to come into the game. Harsh can't close it out. Rintaro Sasaki at the plate when we come back. Now in a save situation, it's Evan Jones, freshman out of Audubon, Pennsylvania, coming onto the mound to face Rintaro Sasaki, the leadoff man for the Cardinal, their most prolific power hitter, who has a chance to tie the game with 2 runners on in a 3-run affair. Probably the wise decision to bring in a new arm, and at that, bring in a guy like Evan Jones, who has been uber successful to start the season. 6 appearances with no earned runs in 5 innings and change, 11 strikeouts and 1 walk, looking for the save here as Wake Forest has pitched itself into that situation now.
You know, theoretically, if Jones can end this ball game here, he could still be available for game 2. This certainly has not unfolded for Wake the way they had anticipated after the 5th inning, but it is what it is. So 1 out to get. Kind of a fun baseball matchup here if you're a fan paying attention to who's who, and great hitter at the plate for Stanford, quality arm on the mound for Wake.
Jones was the number 6 prospect in the state of Pennsylvania this past high school cycle. And he gets a swing and a miss out of Sasaki. That went off the glove of Keenan. Both runners will advance. You can tell there's some hesitancy all around as whether that was clipped foul or not, but it's going to be ruled a passed ball. So two in scoring position.
And I love the fact that Jones came at him with a fastball. Strength against strength.
Swing and a miss. That time goes with the off speed, and you can tell that it caught Sasaki off balance.
Whether he calls that a curveball or a slider, 81 miles an hour with good depth to it, good vertical action.
Sasaki clips that one. Jones gloves it, tags Sasaki, and ends this ball game. It was a bit drawn out, but Wake Forest gets the job done and takes this one 12-9 in leg one of a doubleheader against Stanford, make it 14 consecutive wins for the Demon Deacons as they improve to 14-1 on the season. Stanford falls to 5-9. And Dick, we're going to do it all again in 45 minutes.
I'm exhausted right now.
Bet everyone is exhausted, so we'll take a quick step aside and then we'll have our second game of the doubleheader. Should start in about 45 minutes after this one, right here on ACC Network Extra. Wake Forest will look to sweep the series against the Cardinal and start 3-0 in ACC play. Look to move to 11-0 at home. Again, the final score in this one, number 15 Wake Forest takes down Stanford 12-9 here at David F. Couch Ballpark. For Dick Cook, I'm Jonah Weintraub saying so long, and we'll talk to you again in 45.